end-over-end deep kick taken by Walker in his own end zone. He's got running room across the 25, fumbles the ball momentarily. And the Oakland Raiders have recovered number 46, Todd Christensen, the man who has come up with the ball. So Walker looked like he was going to the races, and then David, a turnover for the Raiders.
Here we see the replay of what happened here. He's really out of control as he's trying to cut back. It looked to me as if he was down, but of course that's a referee's decision on that play. We can see it again from another angle. You can see if that ball touches the ground, he's down. Let's look right here. He was down, Mike.
Kind of call, though, that have been going against Oakland this year, and now they get a break. Great field position in Miami territory at the 27, 1st and 10. Kenny King and Derek Jensen, the setbacks for Oakland. Wilson to throw on 1st and 10 to Derek Ramsey. He's got a first down at the 10. Offensively for Oakland, Derek Ramsey, the tight end. Mark Wilson will be starting at quarterback. Kenny King, number 33, he's the speedball in the Oakland offense. Cliff Branch is going to be helped today a great deal by Bob Chandler. Ramsey, you just saw him catch the pass from Wilson. Art Shell will start at left tackle. Marsh in place of Upshaw, and Steve Sylvester will start in place of Dave Dalby. 1st and 10 for the Raiders on the 15. Give us a Kenny King. Stop by number 55, Ernie Roan.
Well, the Oakland Raiders certainly got a break early, Mike, but this is where the Miami Dolphins have been very, very effective this year. But Oakland has got to score early because this Dolphin team has got one of the best defenses in the league over the past 7 or 8 years.
2nd down and 8 at the 13 of Miami. Slot formation to the left. Chandler in the slot. Wilson will throw. Intended for Derek Jensen and badly overthrown. Doug Betters provided some excellent pressure. Number 75, he's one of the 3 defensive linemen that start for the Miami Dolphins. Bob Baumhauer in the middle, and the veteran Vern Denherter, number 83. The linebacking crew, one of the best in the business. Bob Brzezinski, acquired from the Rams, and Ernie Roan, number 55, having a sensational year. They're joined by A.J. Douay and Larry Gordon. And the Blackwood brothers handle the safety positions. Glenn at strong safety, Lyle at free safety. 3rd down and 8 at the Miami 13. Quick wide receivers to the right, and Wilson will throw again. Christensen in the end zone, touchdown. A sensational catch by number 46, Todd Christensen, the 3rd-year man from Brigham Young University.
Well, they certainly do like him. Al Davis has been very, very high on him. They kind of feel he's an in-between player, though, but boy, he showed he can play tight end there.
Well, if the Dolphins have had a problem this season, it has been in their defensive secondary. They brought in veteran Lyle Blackwood from the Giants and erstwhile of Baltimore. He replaced Don Bezalou. But that time he was beaten, or free safety was beaten, Glenn Blackwood rather, was beaten by Todd Christensen. So the Raiders have an early 6-0 lead. Chris Barr set to attempt a point. The kick is up, it is good. So with just 13:22 remaining in the first quarter, the Oakland Raiders, a reserve safety. He gets it across the 30-yard line to the 34, where Ted Watts, number 41, the number 1 draft choice this season for Oakland, brings him down. Woodley, a great second-year quarterback out of LSU, joined by Tony Nathan and Andra Franklin, who has developed into one of the top fullbacks in the league. Duriel Harris and Nat Moore, tremendous pair of wide receivers. Ronnie Lee, just one of 3 tight ends that Don Shula will use. Denard and Bob Kuchenberg making his 174th start, which breaks Bob Greasy's record. 1st and 10 for the Dolphins at their own 34-yard line. They give us a Franklin, and Franklin cuts it back for 2 or 3 yards before Matt Millen, number 55, and the Mad Stork. Ted Hendricks making a hometown appearance here. Played his college ball at the University of Miami.
It certainly did seem odd this first series to watch the Oakland Raiders without the great Gene Upshaw on there. What a force for so many years.
Defensively, some new faces. You saw Johnny Robinson, the new nose tackle. Of course, Hendricks, McClanahan, Millen, and Rod Martin, the star of the Super Bowl a year ago. And they join a fine defensive secondary. Lester Hayes, however, only 2 interceptions on the year. 2nd down and 7. And Woodley will throw. He's got Harris into Raider territory. Monty Jackson on the coverage. But an excellent pattern run by Darrell Harris.
Boy, hasn't he been effective over the years. He's really been quite a force out there. Woodley is probably the most laid-back quarterback I've ever seen in all my years of playing and now announcing. He is just so calm in there. They say that it's just that their offensive line is given a lot of time, but he's very, very relaxed in there. This is what Mark Wilson has got to develop, and he certainly will.
Miami's first penetration into Oakland territory. They have it at the Raider 43. Woodley swings it out to Harris again. Again, Monty Jackson, the man assigned in the coverage. Harris, despite his scintillating 19.4 average, that was his average a week ago against the Patriots, has caught but 1 touchdown pass. That came against the Colts 2 weeks ago. But Woodley likes to feature everybody in the Miami offense. The Raiders lead 7-0, 11:16 to go here, first quarter. Miami's ball at the Raider 37. Ron Lee in motion. The flip to Tony Nathan, and he's going nowhere. Ted Hendricks, 83, stuffed things up and turned it inside.
What a play Hendricks made on that play. He came straight across and really forced the play inside, and this grass is well used, and it's down to just a real fine nub. And of course, look at those statistics on Ted Hendricks. He's in, what, his 13th year, and 5-time All-Pro, and probably had one of his best seasons last year. Quite a remarkable career.
And Dave, today his 185th consecutive start. 3rd and 8 for Miami, 5 defensive backs for the Pirate formation. The Raiders like to call it. They've got almost everybody in the line of scrimmage. Flags are down. The Raiders say that they were drawn off sides.
False start, number 67 offense.
I think that is a little bit scary when you see 9 of those fellows up there in the line. They had just 2 people deep. It's kind of scary. There's the play. There's the flinch right there by the defensive line, which of course made the offensive player pull off sides.
And the man who flinched, number 67, the old pro, Bob Kuchenberg.
He's so old that I played against him, and that's an old fellow.
He has been quite a winner over the years for Miami. Teamed up with Larry Little to give Miami one of the finest guard tandems in the NFL. Miami now facing a 3rd down and 13 situation. Back on the Oakland 45. Now 6 defensive backs in for Oakland. They call that their bandit formation. Woodley with time. Intended for Nat Moore. Otis McKinney, number 23, I believe, got a hand on it.
He certainly did, but he was well covered. That was a very, very good play by McKinney. But it was a great pass by Woodley. He's just really calm here, sets up, and he's going all the way out here, looking nowhere else. And that ball's really thrown on the money. But look at the play by Otis McKinney right there, tap it out of his hands.
So the Dolphins will punt as we take a look at number 23. 4th-year man out of Colorado, Tom Orris. Rookie free agent out of Ohio State who has been quite a find for these Dolphins. Set to punt for Miami back deep. The rookie number 1 draft choice, Ted Watt. Lester Hayes pressures Watts. Watts calls for the fair catch at his own 9. There are 10 minutes and 10 seconds. As I was saying before, if you've just joined us, the Raiders scored first. Result of a Fulton Walker fumbled kickoff. And the Raiders took it 4 plays, 27 yards, a 13-yard touchdown pass. Mark Wilson to Todd Christensen. Raiders at their own 9, and Wilson, a very dangerous throw intended for Cliff Branch. Larry Gordon almost had himself an interception.
That really surprised me for the young, what's his name? Excuse me, for the young Mark Wilson coming out of the backfield like this. It really surprised me so much I forgot who it was. But that's quite a call right there to throw the ball from deep in your end zone like that. And you can see how close it was to an interception.
He is lucky that was not returned for 6. So the Raiders have new life still at their own 9, second out of 10. And Wilson will throw again. He's got Derek Jensen out to about the 18-yard line, but A.J. Douay, number 77, was in Wilson's face.
Boy, did he greet Mark Wilson on that play. As we watch here, watching the left side of your screen, you'll see Dewey coming in here, number 75 right there. No, that's Betters, excuse me. That's Doug Betters. And that's quite a greeting to the NFL.
Betters has 4.5 sacks this year for that Miami defense. Third down and 1. Ball resting at their own 18-yard line. Give is the number 27, Frank Hawkins, a rookie out of Nevada at Reno. Larry Gordon on the stop. I thought it was interesting, Dave, that given the very deep field position of Oakland, that they elected to throw on their first 2 downs.
That totally surprised me, Mike, because most times you'll find your offense in a deep situation like that will try to drive out, get a little bit of field position in case you have to punt, but Wilson went right to the pass early.
Oakland, of course, 1970s, third winningest team in football behind Dallas and Miami. First and 10, flip to Kenny King. Brzezinski was there first to undercut Kenny. Was the Raiders' leading rusher this season. 4.7 average, 606 yards, but he has fumbled the ball 8 times. It's those kind of turnovers that has hurt Oakland.
At this same time last year, he had exactly the same statistics, so he's a very steady runner. The exact same 4.7 yards per carry, so very, very consistent runner.
A game that Miami will play a great deal of attention to. Buffalo on top or trailing St. Louis 3-0. Our colleague Sam Nover and Gene Washington covering that one. Wilson, blitzed by Gordon, gets it off. Doug Betters was coming from the left side, and Larry Gordon will pull out blitz from the right.
This is what they're trying to do to the Oakland Raiders, is to get them excited about the pass protection. You can see Wilson, he sees Gordon come from the outside here, and he's just trying to get the ball off. The best way to really disrupt your play and to get to a young quarterback is to bother him early with those blitzes, and that's what Miami is doing today.
Miami now has 6 defensive backs in the game. Fulton Walker, number 41, and Don Besler, number 46, have checked into the Miami secondary. Third down and 8 for Oakland. Wilson forced out of the pocket. He's got to run. And he's got the first down across the 30 to 31-yard line and pushed out of bounds there. So the gangly one from Brigham Young University, 6'6" and 205 pounds, shows a little bit of running acumen as he picks up an Oakland first down.
Those are perfect sizes, Mike, for a quarterback. The height that he has allows him to see over the defensive line. And of course, he's got a great arm. In pregame warm-up, I saw him throw a ball 60 yards standing flat-foot in the end zone. So he's got a fantastic arm. And he, of course, is the hope of the Raiders for the future years.
First and 10 for Oakland. At their own 34, they lead 7-0. A mix-up in the center exchange, but Mark Wilson recovers his own fumble.
Steve Sylvester, number 66, is playing with a dislocated thumb, so that could have caused a mix-up there as Mark Wilson missed the handoff. Look at those statistics there. Giveaways and takeaways, what a difference. The Dolphins never hurt themselves. You can see they have a +2 difference, and that's how many times you take the ball away from the offense is how many times you give it to the defense. And the Raiders were on the bad end of the line there.
Second and 10 at the 34. Give us to Jensen, the single setback. A lot of running room around the right side. He's got the first down into Miami territory at the 47-yard line. A great block by Kenny King, number 33. Gerald Small, the right side corner, finally brings Derek Jensen down. Gain of 19 yards. Kenny King leaves the game and is being replaced by number 22, Arthur Whittington out of SMU, who has been sort of a forgotten man this year in Oakland's offense. 6:48 remaining. Oakland leading 7-0. Wilson, again rush, first and 10. Out to Jensen, gain of 4, flag on the play.
That flag's in a bad position. That's always holding there. 99 times out of 100, that's holding, and that's what it's going to be this time.
Head referee Jerry Seaman is Tom Flores. Arms crossed.
Illegal use of hands, number 66 on the offense.
Steve Sylvester, the center, as you mentioned earlier, plagued by that fractured thumb. Sets Oakland back. Chicago on top of the Green Bay Packers 3-0 in pro football's oldest rivalry. The Cincinnati Bengals continuing their winning ways. 3-0 over Los Angeles, a 37-yard field goal by Jim Brees. Mark Wilson screen out to Jensen Tour. Recovers the fumble, or is it? The referees ruling an incomplete pass.
Those fans are still remembering that first play when they gave him the fumble on that earlier kickoff, and they wanted a little lateral there, and of course the fumble, but they didn't get it.
Miami's defense only ranks 12th in the AFC. However, they have many versatile players, and Dewey is one of them. He is lined up just about everywhere except for the safety positions, and I'm not so sure he couldn't do that.
That really presents a problem for your offensive blocking scheme. When you see him jump in there and jump back out, it really presents problems.
5 defensive backs into the game for Miami, second down and 20 for Oakland. Intended for Whittington was almost picked off by Bob Baumhauer.
He had probably one of the biggest breaks in his career right there. He's played fantastic this year. He's already had 7 or 8 sacks. He's got 60 tackles, and he had a lineman's dream right there as he missed an interception with nobody in front of him for 30 yards.
Raymond Chester has come in for Oakland and replaces Derek Ramsey. It's now third down and 20 for the Raiders. 6:19 remaining here in the first quarter. Raiders lead 7-0. Wilson uncomfortable with the defensive formation that Miami throws at him and goes to the sidelines to confer with head coach Mark Wilson just returned from the sidelines and a talk with Coach Tom Flores.
It really helps to have your time over there with the coach. But look at that score right there. Pittsburgh over Atlanta, 7-0 already. Bradshaw,
an 18-yard touchdown pass to Benny Cunningham in a battle of 5 and 5 teams. Wilson has got good protection, but a mix-up in the pass pattern between Bob Chandler, number 85, and number 80, Malcolm Barnwell. So Ray Guy will come on to the field to punt for the first time this afternoon.
Oh, Ray has kicked for an awful long time. One of my real close friends, a super person, a very, very versatile athlete. He was drafted in baseball, and he's really got a great ability back there. And a third-team backup quarterback and kicks field goals. What a guy. Married to a great girl, too.
Second in the league behind Pat McAnally of Cincinnati with a 44.4-yard average. However, he has banged 18 inside the 20-yard line. Tommy Vigorito, the leading punt return man in the AFC, back deep for Miami. Veselu almost gets a piece of it. Vigorito will call for the fair catch at his 19. So that's where the Miami Dolphins will put it in play. A 40-yard punt by Ray Guy, but the most important statistic, no return. Crowd of an expected over 60,000 on hand here in the Orange Bowl. They have had trouble drawing people to Miami for a variety of reasons. This team has yet to fall in love with this edition of the Miami Dolphins. Woodley's 1st and 10 give to Tony Nathan. Millen was there, and so was Ted Hendricks. Last week against the Patriots, Don Shula, his 200th career victory. Only Tom Landry, George Halas, and Ed Curly Lambeau have more. We talked to him about it before the game.
Winning the 200th game was exciting last week, but more important, it was a game that our football team won, the 7th game of the season. And personal goals aren't important. Team goals are important in a year like this. I hope someday that we can look back and remember the 200th victory came in a year that the football team accomplished.
2nd and 7 give to Andra Franklin, who banks it inside for a couple of yards. John Matuzak and Johnny Robinson. Robinson, just a rookie out of Louisiana Tech.
I've always been a great Don Shula fan as we look at Andra Franklin's statistics there, and I'll tell you, he is really quite a coach. I saw some great comments by Mike Kern, who formerly played here, and said how much he learned about life and about winning, and I thought it was just quite a tribute to such a great coach.
Well, they gave him a game ball, but they also presented him with a picture of him as a Baltimore defensive back 27 years ago, getting beat by R.C. Owens. And at the bottom, you've come a long way, Don. Indeed he has. Miami's ball, 3rd and 2. Give to Nathan, cuts it back. It looks like he has the first down.
Mike, both these defenses play a 34 up front. That's 3-man line. It gives you so much versatility. They can get to the ball in such a hurry. That time Dave Browning went in there and really got some deep penetration, caused the play to cut back. And they've got, as you said, some outstanding linebackers on both sides here. And that's the whole gist of the defense right there.
1st and 10 Miami at their own 31. They trail the Raiders 7-0 with 4:07 to go here in the first quarter. Woodley will throw. Play action. For Ronnie Lee. Number 53, Rod Martin is there. Lee breaks that one tackle, and finally number 57, Randy McClanahan, finishes him off. Let's go to Brian Gumbel now in New York for an update.
Thank you, Michael. Across the state from you over in Tampa, Denver has taken a lead over the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Craig Morton, a 12-yard touchdown pass to Riley Odoms, has Denver in front 7-0 in the first. Michael?
Thank you, Bryant. Back here in Miami, if you've just joined us, the Oakland Raiders on top of the Dolphins 7-0. A critical turnover by return man Fulton Walker gave the Raiders great field position, and Mark Wilson threw a 13-yard touchdown pass to Todd Christensen to give the Raiders the lead. Miami on 2nd and 3 to Nathan. And close to another Miami first down. Johnny Robinson, the man who hit him first. Ted Hendricks making sure he went no further.
Johnny Robinson sure has had to fill the big shoes of Reggie Kinlaw in that middle, and that's been a real problem there, the youngness and the transition that they've made and the changes due to injuries. How about that score right there, Mike?
Key game for both the Buccaneers and the Broncos. Denver on top, 7-0 is the incredible Craig Morton. Another touchdown pass, this time 12 yards to Riley Odoms, and Baltimore has come back with 6 points. 7-6 Philadelphia over the Colts in Veterans Stadium. Curtis Dickey with a 1-yard run, and it's nice to see after all the reports in the paper about him being in not only McCormick's doghouse, but also Burt Jones. Dolphins short by just a matter of inches. Green Bay now on top of Chicago 7-3. David Whitehurst. 1-yard touchdown pass to former Michigan Wolverine Harlan Huckleby. If I come back in my next life, I think I'd like that name.
I did a game a few weeks ago, and that was something else with that name.
What would you name your first son?
I better abstain from that.
Miami 3rd and inches to go on their own 40-yard line. 2:43 remaining here in the first quarter. Franklin, I don't know. Matt Millen hit him first, all 260 pounds of him. But Franklin's forward motion gives Miami a first down, and how they love number 37. Just a rookie out of Nebraska, but he does not fumble, and he gains the critical yards in those tough situations.
He's got a lot of those 142 yards per game rushing.
Well, that statistic reflected Miami's team rushing statistics on the year, a great improvement over a year ago. One of the reasons they're 7-2-1. Tony Nathan, the lone setback. Miami first and 10 at the 41. Woodley over Hendricks' head out to Duriel Harris. Harris breaks the tackle and is finally shoved out of bounds by Lester Hayes.
An interesting thing, as you said, it was over Hendricks' head that time, but you know, in his 13th year, you never see him get knocked off his feet. He's got great leverage. He says that's how he plays the game. He plays with leverage, not strength, even though he is a well-conditioned athlete. But boy, what a pain tolerance and playing ability he has had for so many years.
Miami had a chance to pick up the Mad Stork back in 1975 after he played out his option with the Green Bay Packers. However, they couldn't work out some contractual agreements. He wound up with Al Davis. 2 tight ends on 2nd and 1. Hardy joins Rodney Lee. Give to Nathan. Randy McClanahan, number 57, clogged the middle.
Number 55, Matt Millen here from Penn State. Look at him stuff this line right here. Driving. There's Kuchenberg. He's against quite a player there. And it's a real force in there. He's really played well. I think he was one of the real stabilizing forces last year after the loss of Monty Johnson that took them all the way to the Super Bowl. Quite a player.
Millen was a down lineman at Penn State. Him and Bruce Clark, who subsequently went to Canada.
I was a down lineman at Penn State, too, by the way.
But you never got up to play linebacker.
I didn't mention it after yesterday, either.
It is now 3rd and 1. Cephalo into the game and in motion left. Woodley to throw. Got Franklin. Ball thrown slightly behind him, and Franklin had to adjust his footing and is short of the first down.
That's what you call about a 30-yard pass for no gain. That was a straight-out pattern, and he did throw it behind him and wasn't able to make it. Quite a decision already for Don Shula. And he's going to go for it.
They have brought number 80, Joe Rose, a tight end, into the game. He replaces Jimmy Cephalo. Rose has been Miami's most productive tight end. He is now 1 of 3 in the game for the Dolphins. 4th and less than a yard. Woodley to Franklin, and Franklin's got the first down and then some.
That's why they like Andre Franklin. He can get you that yard when he has to, and they went right to him, as you said, Mike. They really like him here in Miami.
He wore number 39 at the University of Nebraska, and 39 was the number that Larry Zonka wore so proudly for many, many years as a great Dolphin fullback, and Franklin declined. He said, my shoes are big enough to fill, let alone his. I'll take 37.
That's quite a tribute to a guy I played against for a lot of years and got a lot of bruises from.
Miami a first down in Raider territory at the 46. Woodley will throw on 1st and 10. Going for it all. And Moore working 1-on-1 with Lester Hayes. And comes up empty. The first quarter has ended here in the Orange Bowl in Miami. Woodley walking to the side for the Baltimore. Kind of season it's been for the Baltimore Colts, a missed extra point. Miami trailing the Oakland Raiders here in the Orange Bowl 7-0.
Look at those stats there, Mike. It's been a real close game. Of course, 69 total yards to 60. The big thing for the Dolphins has been the passing game, 42 yards.
And of course, the missing statistic, the turnover, a fumble by Fulton Walker, which allowed the Raiders great field position and a chance to score. Miami at the 46 of Oakland, 2nd down and 10. Woodley, screen intended for Ron Lee, the tight end. And credit John Matusak, 72, for being in Woodley's face.
Kuchenberg, of course, the wily old veteran for so many years. We can see him here just make a little slip block right here, trying to get out in the play. Now he has to pick up the safety, the cornerback that's coming there to force. and well, he got the linebacker instead, but that's his job right there. But they're really putting the pressure on the quarterbacks today.
Number 53, Rod Martin, almost picked it off.
How's that for a statistic? Quite a testimony to endurance, because you know this game is physical and you can get hurt in a hurry.
Wayne Osteen comes into the Raider lineup. 5 defensive backs on 3rd and 10. Matt Moore working one-on-one with Otis McKinney, but number 23, McKinney, the 4th-year man out of Colorado, breaks it up. He has had quite a year for Oakland's defense, which has been playing quite well. With the exception of the Kansas City game, they have not given an opponent more than 17 points. So Miami will punt. Tom Orris to do the punting. Number 3, a free agent out of Ohio State, a 40.8 average. His long 55 yards. He has nailed 14 inside the 20-yard line. And a look at number 41, Ted Watt, number 1 choice out of Texas Tech. Orris angling it for the left sideline. Bounces out of bounds at the 11-yard line. And so again, Oakland will have to put the ball in play deep in their own territory. However, they have us in the National Football League today. Pittsburgh on top of the Atlanta Falcons, 14-0. A Terry Bradshaw touchdown pass of 6 yards to John Stallworth, his second of the day. Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy, I'm sure, enjoying that one. Give is to Kenny King. Miami's defense stuffs him pretty good. Number 75, Doug Better, 6'7", 260 pounds. 4th-year man out of Nevada Reno.
Like number 60 there, Kurt Marsh is filling some great shoes. The great Gene Upshaw. I can't recall many rookies that have started for the Oakland Raiders, and they are very high on him. A great draft choice. They brought him out of Washington. And, of course, I talked to Gene Upshaw about it earlier, and he's very proud of the fact that Marsh has been able to do that.
2nd down and 9, and Wilson will throw. Underneath for Ramsey, the tight end. Coverage provided by number 47, Glenn Blackwood. If Ramsey has had a problem this season, it has been holding on to the football. He's an excellent prospect and has ousted Raymond Chester out of the starting position. 1st and 10 Raiders at their own 24. Again, Ramsey. Gain of 5.
Kurt Marsh continues to amaze me, number 60 here, because, as I said, he's filling some great shoes, but he's playing good football. This is not just a transition. Gene Upshaw knows that this is the player for the future here. You can see him running him by. That's just a great block right there. He's not even in the picture.
I think next to quarterback, picking up the nuances of an offensive lineman is the 2nd most difficult job in football. Marsh, just a rookie, picks up the blitz. Larry Gordon coming in, draw play. Kenny King, 1st down. King's got the quick feet. Kenny bangs it out to the 43-yard line. Another Raider 1st down. Ernie Roan, who leads the Dolphins in tackles, makes the stop.
Look at this play right here. Here he comes in here. It's getting blocked right there. And we're coming out wide here, and look at this run. Kenny King has got great acceleration, as you can see here. He's just waiting back there for the ball, number 33. There's the hole, and look at that foot speed by him. He's already got 19 or 20 yards, and he can really move the ball. That was a great acquisition for them.
He has left the game and is replaced by Arthur Whittington. Also, Frank Hawkins has checked in to the Raider lineup. 1st and 10. Wilson. Under a heavy rush by Vern, Dead Herner. The New York Jets trail the New England Patriots 3-0 in Foxborough. A 22-yard field goal by John Smith. Cincinnati on top of the Los Angeles Rams, 10-0. Kenny Anderson has hit Pete Johnson with a 3-yard touchdown pass. And the Chicago Bears back on top of the Green Bay Packers, 10-7. Matt Zui, a 1-yard touchdown run. 2nd and 10, Oakland at their 43. Wilson out to Hawkins. Gets it across midfield to the 49-yard line. Wilson has been harassed all afternoon.
They certainly have put some pressure on him. They're blitzing a linebacker every time, and they're really trying to disrupt that young quarterback. He hasn't been off to a real good start, but of course at the same time last year, David Woodley wasn't either, so there's quite a transition in pro football, you know, not only in the offensive line, as you said, but at the real skill position of quarterback.
A gain of 8, 3rd and 2 at the Miami 49. Wilson. He's got time and got Cliff Branch. Officials rule it incomplete. Branch had the ball momentarily, then had it knocked out of his hands, and number 52, Steve Shull, was there to cover it up.
As we watch Wilson setting up here, he's going all the way to Cliff Branch. This is a questionable call again. Look at that rifle in there. If he has control of the ball, that's a very questionable call, and it's a new call this year, whether he has possession or whether he has control or whether he's come down with his feet. It could have gone either way.
It is another judgment call that the referees don't need. Ray Guy back at his own 35-yard line to punt. Tommy Vigorito, number 32. Busted 187 yards this year against Pittsburgh for a touchdown. Guy's punt, high spiral. Fair catch signaled by Bessalou at his own 10. A tremendous kick by Ray Guy. After 9 years, he still can kick it just about as running back out of Oklahoma. Had to leave the game earlier in the second quarter. We will try to get you word as to his condition. Raiders lead at 7-0 with 11:02 remaining here in the first half. Andrew Franklin, the lone setback, gets the call from Woodley. Gain of 3 in the play, 2nd down and 7. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. David Woodley staring at a 2nd down and 7 situation at his own 14. Woodley hit Cephalo right at the numbers and a little slant across the middle, but Cephalo could not hang on. Ball was partially tipped. Lester Hayes on the coverage.
Don't you know that David Woodley's looking into some big facts here. Look at the size of John Matusak here, number 72. Just doing a simple headbutt, but that's quite a force in your face at about 6'9". That's quite a force coming at you.
Eric Laxo, number 68, the man who has drawn the unenviable assignment of containing the twos. Hard to believe he's been in the league already 9 years. Third down and 7. Woodley will throw. Intended for Tony Nathan over his head and almost caught by Duriel Harris. Right now, let's go to Byron Day, who's standing by in New York for an update.
Michael, in St. Louis, the Bills lost Monday night. They find themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard at this point. Neil Lomax throws a 2-yard pass to Stan Mitchell. He takes it in. The Cardinals lead it in the second, 10-0. Let's go back to Mike Adamle and Dave Rowe.
Thank you, Byron, and that is a big game that Miami will be looking at. The Buffalo Bills trail the Dolphins by a game and a half as Orris punts from his own end zone. Low liner fielded by Watts at his 47 across the 40. Bolton Walker hit him first. So Miami with their best field position of this afternoon. They'll put the ball in play at the Raiders 38 with 10:05 remaining here in the first half.
Information management from the Bell System.
If you want to make it in the National Football League as a punt return man, you have to be bold and courageous. Watch number 41, Ted Watts. No stutter steps, just a straight up the field return, and that's how you gain yardage. Raiders, excellent field position, a chance to increase their 7-0 lead with 10:05 here in the second quarter. Branch, motion right. Wilson, play action. Again under pressure, Bob Chandler, tremendous A 37-yard touchdown pass, Mark Wilson to Bob Chandler. Chandler's first reception of the afternoon, and a tremendous move on the Miami cornerback, Gerald Small.
As we talked about it earlier, the acquisition or getting back of Chandler really took the pressure off of Cliff Branch. As we watch Wilson here lining up the throw, this is just a straight throw, and of course he beats Gerald Small and beats him handily. But this is what a Bob Chandler continually can do for you. Great hands, not the greatest of speed, but look at those hands. Just hurdles that ball in for his first touchdown receiving this year, knows where that is, and just makes it.
So Barr will try to lengthen the Raiders' lead to 14. Chandler with the hold. The spot is perfect, and so is the kick. And so the Raiders, with 9:56 left to go here in the second quarter, now lead the Dolphins 14-zip. Proved is that you don't have to have a lot of speed to be a great wide receiver in the NFL, and Bob Chandler out of his mold. 37 yards and a Raiders score. Colton Walker gets the kickoff. Breaks 2 or 3 tackles out of the 24-yard line. Greg Graceland, a linebacker acquired from the Denver Broncos, makes the stop, a return of 24 yards. That play, just one play in 9 seconds.
9 seconds. Took him 9 seconds to run 37 yards, but it was an important 37 yards.
Chandler has been a tremendous wide receiver over the years for both the Buffalo Bills and now the Oakland Raiders. And of course, he is still recovering, in essence, from that removed spleen operation that he had. He has got a surgical scar that extends from his sternum to his belly button.
A splenectomy. See, I went to Penn State, so I know that.
Eddie Hill now in the game for Miami, number 31, at fullback in place of Andre Franklin, to give the Dolphins a little more speed. Nathan, tremendous catch across the 50-yard line. To Tony Nathan, and pretty good coverage provided by Burgess Owen. That was a big, big play.
But you'll never see a better pass catch than that one. He tipped the ball up in the air and came back down with it, kept control of it. And as you said, it brings them in Oakland territory, and they've got to score. I watched Don Shula on the sideline, and he was really emphatic about his offense, getting them going. And that's what a great coach does.
Nathan has counted for over 700 yards of Miami's total offense this season. 8:55 remaining here in the first half. Raiders lead 14-0. Dolphins threatening. Woodley. Rolling work. In trouble. Number 90, Willie Jones. 30-year man out of Florida State. Wraps Woodley up and brings him down.
Woodley was trying a throwback play on this play right here. He's trying to roll action, trying to draw the coverage over to this side. Then he was going to look back to his left and throw across the field, but Oakland had guessed right on the coverage. We see him look back right there. There's nowhere to go, and he had to just take the ball down to the ground.
Woodley, or rather Willie Jones, known more for his pass rushing prowess, has replaced John Matuzak, as these are obvious passing situations for Miami if they want to get back in the game. 2nd and 10 at the 46. Cross block to Franklin for 2 or 3 yards. Ted Hendricks there. Second down and 7.
Oakland has done something this year that a lot of clubs don't have the ability to do. Al Davis, their managing general partner, he's always able to reclaim people. Randy McClanahan's a good case of that. He reclaimed him from Buffalo, and he's really played well for him. Of course, Hendricks and Matuzak, and even myself over the years, he's been able to do this more and more.
Dwayne Osteen now in the game as the Raiders unveil their nickel back formation. Woodley right in the hands of Lester Hayes. A flag is on the play. I believe it will be offensive interference, because Hayes was right on the coverage. Ted Hendricks in Woodley's face. The initial indication, however, defensive holding.
There's one of the real competitors in this game. He had quite a year last year, as we see, 13 interceptions, had 4 or 5, I should say, in the playoffs, and that would have been his third. But that was a timing pass, and Lester just played that really perfect. He stepped right in front, but as we watch him here coming off the ball.
Interference, number 35 defense. First down.
There's where he gets him right there. You can't do that. You can't put that hand against that offensive player. So obviously it wasn't a pass interference, but quite a player, the 1980 Defensive Player of the Year.
Call was not against Lester Hayes, however. It was against Dwayne Osteen, number 35. Unless head referee Jerry Seaman was mistaken. So Miami, with a great break, now has the ball at the Raider 29. Flip to Nathan. Looking for running room around the right side. He is fortunate that he was able to pick up 4 yards. Otis McKinney on the tackle. The Buffalo Bills trailed the St. Louis Cardinals 10-0 in the second quarter. This game will have an impact on the AFC's Eastern Division. Miami, as you can see, a 1 1/2 game lead over the Bills. Miami, however, trails here 14-0, 6:39 to go in the first half. Woodley looking at 2nd and 7. Raiders bring in an extra linebacker. Eddie Hill has replaced Tony Nathan. Or rather, Andre Franklin. Woodley. Up top for Eddie Hill. Otis McKinney on the coverage. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KRON TV, Channel 4, San Francisco.
Miami now, 3rd down and 7, and Oakland brings their big people back into the game.
Miami has got to get a score here, and Shula realizes that they have got to get a score before halftime. They don't want to go in, of course, 14 down.
Tom Figueredo now in the lineup for Miami. Woodley looking for Harris, overthrown. Great coverage by Monty Jackson, number 42, and he's talking to the referee, saying perhaps that Harris pushed him. So Uwe von Schamann, the hero of a week ago, with this 37-yard field goal to beat the Patriots in overtime and give Shula his 200th career victory, takes the field.
Hasn't he had an exceptional year? 12 for 12 from 40 yards and in. He's had quite a year for them here.
This one is spotted at the 34, meaning that it'll be a 44-yard field goal for Uwe von Schamann.
This will be his longest one of the year if he makes it.
Woodley with the hold. Von Schamann's kick is up. It is wide to the left. So Miami fails to capitalize one more time. 6:07 remains here in the first half. The Raiders enjoying a 14-0 lead. 7 remain here in the first half here in the Orange Bowl. Raiders enjoying a 14-0 lead over the Miami Dolphins. Recap the scoring for you. A 13-yard touchdown pass, Mark Wilson to Todd Christensen after a Fulton Walker fumble on the kickoff, and then a 37-yard touchdown pass, Mark Wilson to Bob Chandler. Chandler's first TD reception of the year. Wilson will throw on 1st and 10. Out to Derek Ramsey. Ramsey breaks Brodzinski's tackle and has a first down.
Mark Wilson has totally fooled me twice. I thought that time that he might keep the ball on the ground, but went right back to the air. They have an awful lot of confidence in their passing game, and he's off to a great start.
Gain of 14 yards on that pass play. NBC is contractually obligated to televise the Oakland Raiders game back to the Bay Area. By contract, only one NBC NFL telecast can be aired in San Francisco. Because of the unusual circumstances this weekend, NBC Sports asked the NFL if a delayed broadcast could be aired of the Cleveland-San Francisco game. The NFL agreed to the procedure on a one-time only basis, and the game will be on a tape delay at 11:30 in San Francisco, Sacramento, and Salinas, California. Kenny King, the ball carrier here, and watch the play of number 77.
Quite a penetration there by A.J. Dewey. That's what you have to do in order to stop a Kenny King. You've got to get that penetration. That's what Oakland's done so well. Boy, as you said many times, he has been quite a player for the Miami Dolphins.
NFL Rookie of the Year in 1977, now a Dolphin mainstay. Second down and 13 for the Raiders. Flags all over the place. As Baumhauer was lured off sides, or did he just jump?
I believe he just jumped on that one. He was trying to get a good takeoff quick, and I think he jumped a little early. Look at that graphic right there, Mike. Fewest penalties. Look where Miami ranks. They are a team that continually does not hurt themselves. And the Oakland Raiders, look at that in third position, are another team that don't hurt themselves with penalties. You know as well as I do that penalties can kill you in this league.
Defensive man over the center.
Here's a jump right here. He's trying to do a pass-over move right there where you just knock him aside and do a swim over, and there's the snap. Sylvester alertly snapped it to get the 5-yard penalty.
One thing Shula insists upon is mental dexterity, alertness. Wilson to Cliff Branch, first down at midfield. Sandwiched by Beaucamper, number 58, and Gerald Small, number 48.
What a force Clifford Branch has been over the years. Look at those statistics. You won't find a whole lot of players with statistics like that. The year we went to the Super Bowl in 1977, he was fantastic. Let's go back to Byron Day and see what he has to say.
Okay, thank you very much. In Atlanta, Steve Bartkowski has just thrown his 23rd touchdown pass of the year. Tops the NFL to Alfred Jackson. More importantly, that puts the Falcons on the board. It's now 14-7 Pittsburgh in the second.
Arthur Whittington, the ball carrier on the Raiders' possession. Glenn Blackwood makes the stop, a gain of 6 by Whittington. It'll be second down and 4 now.
We haven't heard much from the Blackwood brothers, although they're really playing good football here for the Miami Dolphins. But Oakland has been doing more of the challenging of the cornerbacks than they have challenged down the middle.
Branch and Chandler are wide to the right. Branch in the slot. Tom Flores looking on. Second down and 3. Give us to Frank Hawkins. Hawkins has the first down to the Miami 34-yard line.
As we watch A.J. Dewey here, number 77, you can see his play. He's trying to get across the play. Oakland has traditionally gone to that. Look at the block by Marsh right there, number 60, and he's off and running. But that's the side that Oakland traditionally has gone to, the Upshaw and the Shell. And now it's back to Shell and Marsh.
Hawkins rips off another long Raider run. He is replaced by Derek Jensen. Raiders have a chance to lengthen their lead. Wilson again to throw on first and 10. Going to Branch for it all. Clifford may have lost a hair of that great speed he has had, but not much.
He certainly did. He stretched it out there late in the late running there, but they continue to go back to Gerald Small. They've attacked him twice for the bomb. That one didn't work out, but they've gone back to Gerald Small twice now.
David, you look at the Raiders as we see Pittsburgh on top of Atlanta now. Atlanta's come back with a touchdown. It's 14-7 in the second quarter. One of the reasons for Los Angeles has got 3 points on the Cincinnati Bengals, 10-3. Minnesota on top of New Orleans, 3-0. Second quarter. I'll get to this thought in a minute.
Okay.
Raiders putting the ball in play at the Miami 35, second and 10. Quick give. Whittington across the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Ernie Rowe, number 55, and Bob Brzezinski there to bring him down. You look at the Raiders' 4-6 record, and you look at Cliff Branch. He has caught only 1 touchdown pass this season.
Well, Mark Wilson certainly has the arm, as does Jim Plunkett, to get it to him, but they haven't been able to this year. They've been in the trailing side of the ball games. They've lost close ball games, and Al Davis certainly doesn't think that they should have the record that they do.
For them to avoid mathematical elimination, they must win today's game in the remaining 5. 3rd and 5. Wilson, Derek Ramsey, inside the 20, down to a 10. Another Raider first down and a flag on the play. Gain of 20 yards, and that pass play marked Wilson to Derek Ramsey.
This is what the secondary looks at as we look at the ball. This is what Mark Wilson is looking at as he's back to throw the ball. The secondary wide angle here. Ramsey's going to make an out pattern here, come across the field. We see him in the center of our screen right there. It's an excellent throw right to him. See him catch the ball there, and he knows what to do.
This is the kind of thing that has made Al Davis upset this season. He has seen his Raiders play good football. He knows they can play good football, and yet they have a 4-6 record. They're on top of the Dolphins here, 14-0. 2-minute warning has been given to both benches. Dolphins trying to find out what went wrong. We'll be back after this. Standing Day. He confers with Tom Flores and now heads back onto the field. He's got a chance to put the Raiders on top by 20.
So it's great to have that 2-minute warning in that position because you're able to go over and get the insight of the coaching staff, which are high above the stadium where we are, and they've got an excellent view of what the possibilities that you can run. So it's a great position to be in.
Raiders enjoy a special mastery over the Miami Dolphins. They lead the all-time series, 11 wins, just 3 losses and a tie. And of course, they won the battle out in Alameda County Stadium a year ago, 16-10. Frank Hawkins up, but was he over? Ernie Roan, 55, stuffed him pretty good.
Ernie Roan, number 55. Here we can see him coming into the picture late here as we watch Hawkins try to go up and over. There's Roan coming in there to get the stick in the bottom of the pile, driving back. He's got 111 tackles already. What a year! That's good for an entire season, and we still got 5 games to go.
Chester Willis, another rookie running back in the lineup on 3rd down and less than a yard. Christensen in motion. Wilson's going to throw. He's got Derek Ramsey for the touchdown. Marvelously conceived play by the Oakland Raiders and Mark Wilson. Derek Ramsey in front of the safety man Glenn Blackwood. And now the Raiders have a 20-0 lead with Barr set to attempt the extra point.
In a situation like this, there's absolutely no cushion for the defensive back to rely on. It's just one-on-one, and it's a very tough position as we watch Ramsey catch the ball there. His first touchdown receiving. They haven't had a lot of touchdowns receiving this year.
Coming into the game, Wilson only 3 touchdown passes on the season already this afternoon. In just the first half, he has thrown 3 TDs. Barr's extra point attempt up and perfect. So with just 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining here in the first half, it has been all Raiders. They lead 21-0. He is dangerous. Beats Chris Barr. Flags all over the field, and I'm sure we're going to have a personal foul against the Raiders. 37-yard return by Fulton Walker. He was that close from breaking it.
As we watch this run back right here, watch the speed that this young fella's got right here. He can really turn it on. He sees the seam right there to the left. He turns it up, and here comes the speed right through here. Fulton Walker, this is a 37-yard return, and had not he been held up right there, he might have gone a long way. Now, here's what the penalty is, because once he's knocked out of bounds, you can't hit him any longer.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 48 on the kicking team. First down.
Kenny Hill, a reserve safety, roughed up Fulton Walker. Chris Barr was not pretty, but he really saved a touchdown here. Let's watch again.
He certainly did. As Walker made this run, I thought it was Chris Barr who piled on out of bounds here. Watch Chris Barr all the way. Right in here. There he goes, and here goes Chris Barr over here.
Miami in Raider territory. Woodley across the middle for Figueredo. And I believe that is only Woodley's 2nd completion of this first half. He was 1 for 8 prior to that throw. And if you recall last week's game, he was equally cold in the first half, but came back for a 12 for 13 performance against the Patriots. Woodley short arms this ball to tight end Joe Rose.
He's a very, very notorious slow starter in a game, but once he gets the groove, he can really come on and play. An interesting thing as we watch him turn around is that all the Dolphins, for the Oakland fans, they won't know what 51 is on his helmet. That's in memory of Rusty Chambers, the linebacker that was killed in an accident. And they've dedicated this season, and they wear a number 51 marker on the back of their helmets, in case those people in Oakland were wondering what that was.
Tale of two quarterbacks. Woodley has looked like Wilson, and Wilson has looked like Woodley. Nathan and Vigorito, the setbacks for Miami. Three wide receivers. Woodley will throw. Nathan across the middle, breaks the tackle, across the 30. Goes out of bounds at the 25. Nathan slipped out of the arms of Dwayne Osteen, number 35. And if there is a bright side to this 21-0 deficit, it is that Miami may have a chance to get on the board here before halftime. Let's watch again.
Well, they certainly do. As we watch number 83 here, Ted Hendricks trying to get the rush. There's Nathan swinging out of the backfield, number 22. You can see the pass going by Hendricks. As we watch again from a different angle, there's Nathan right there breaking the hit. Boy, what a factor he's been for this team. Right here, he makes the decision not knowing how much time's on the clock to run out of bounds and stop the clock.
A gain of 18 yards, and that pass play, and a Miami first down at the Raider 24. Woodley to Figueredo. Two blockers out in front of him. Trying to get out of bounds, but does not. Clock running at 24 seconds. Dolphins call timeout.
Well, Vigorito there got the ball out of bounds, but he did not get out of bounds. The referee ruled that when he came down. We can see a little short pass out here to the flat. It's a swing pass, slip screen. Vigorito has a choice whether to go upfield or get out of bounds, and you can see right here he's down and there puts the ball out. But the referee made an excellent call right there. His body was down in the field of play.
Woodley talking to Don Shula and the man in the turquoise windbreaker, Don Strock, Woodley's backup.
They call the quarterback position here Woodstock. Don Shula does not want to settle for 3 points right here. He knows they have to get 7, and that's what they're talking right now, what the pass pattern could be to get him 7 points rather than to get field position and get 3.
Remember, coming up at halftime, join us in New York for NFL 81. Bryant Gumbel with all the scores and highlights of other games across the National Football League this afternoon. AFC's Eastern Division race very tight. Dolphins enjoying a game-and-a-half lead over the Buffalo Bills. Last we heard, the Bills were trailing 10-0. The New York Jets at 5-4-1 are leading the Patriots at the moment 7-3.
Mike, I think more so this year than any other year.
2nd and 4, just 26 seconds remaining here. First half. Woodley intended for Joe Rose. Otis McKinney right on top of things.
That was an excellent pass here by Woodley as he picks out Joe Rose, and McKinney really made a great play on it. He was trailing behind him, and he's trying to drop the ball over his shoulder right there, and watch McKinney rake his arms down right there, trying to get his arms down, pull one away from the ball. That was just an excellent football play.
3rd down and 4 at the 18. Nathan and Vigorito, the setbacks. Vigorito lined up in the slot to the right. Can't hang on. Monty Jackson there. And I think this is a wise decision by Shula to bring on the field goal team. Last week, David, they trailed the Patriots 17-3 before coming back.
Look at Ted Hendricks, the leverage we talked about earlier, never getting knocked off his feet. You can see that Nathan came up to block him and just didn't really get into him. He never lets anybody get up into his body. He's got great long arms. Maybe that's why they call it the stork, but I thought that was for long legs.
This one is spotted at the 26, so a 36-yard field goal attempt by Uwe van Schaumann. Spot is good, the kick is up. And it is good. So finally, it took nearly 29 minutes and 50 seconds of play. But the Dolphins are on the board with a 36-yard field goal by Uwe von Schaman. They now trail the Raiders 21-3.
The fact that if they kick it long, they've got the chance for the long return.
Watson Hawkins back deep. Indeed, von Schaman slipped it with the desired result, the bobble, and no return. So time left here in the first half for one play.
Well, this again, Mark Wilson has fooled me several times today. This could be one of those 70, 80-yard throws. He's got the arm to do it. Boy, has he got the physical stature for a quarterback. Size, he's got a great arm. He certainly could throw up a 60 or 70-yard throw.
The Raiders love to gamble. I say, why not at 4-6? Well, they fooled us again. It gives it to Derek Jensen. So that is the end of the first half, and the Raiders, can you believe this, on top of the Miami Dolphins, 21-3. Recap the scoring. Mark Wilson, who has been a sensational quarterback this first half, 3 touchdown passes, one to Dodd Christensen of 13 yards, and then a 37-yarder to Bob Chandler, a tremendous move on Gerald Small, and then finally the touchdown flick to Derek Ramsey. They have looked excellent, David.
They've played great football, and they haven't turned the ball over like they have in the past. They've played excellent football.
They lead 21-3. Miami has had problems getting their offense started. David Woodley has had a poor first half. He has completed only 2 passes. We'll be back with more halftime activities right after this.
The Dolphins compounded their own problems at the opening of the game. They fumbled the opening kickoff, and the Raiders recovered. It is Mark Wilson, number 6, who's at the controls of the Raiders, has taken over for Jim Plunkett. He threw one to Derek Ramsey right there and set up the game's first score. Wilson looking to his right and finding Todd Christensen, 7-0 for the Silver and Black. They changed ends for the second period, and Wilson, who had thrown only 3 touchdown passes all year, went 36 yards to Bob Chandler, 14-0 for the Raiders. And then, before they went in the locker room, Wilson one more time. His third of the day, a 1-yarder to Derek Ramsey. Raiders jumped out in front 21-0. Von Schaman hit a field goal of 36 yards to put the Dolphins on the board. It stands 21-3.
They have their work cut out for them. They trail the Raiders 21-3. Mark Wilson has been sensational with 3 touchdown passes on the afternoon. Back deep for Oakland, number 27, Frank Hawkins, and number 38, Chester Willis. 22, Arthur Whittington. Willis at his 12. Across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Kenny Poole, number 78, makes the stop for Miami. A return of 19 yards for the rookie out of Auburn. Another rookie running back out of Auburn, Joe Cribbs. Mr. Brooks out in San Diego. Steve Sylvester playing in place of Dave Dalby with that fractured right thumb. Kenny King back in the Oakland lineup. He is paired with Derek Jensen, the fullback. Wilson to throw, going for it all. Again, Branch. Branch had a step on Gerald Small and found the seam in between him and number 42, Lyle Blackwood. It looked like he pulled up just a step there.
It certainly did, but the interesting thing is that the Oakland Raiders have come right back out and challenged again. This is a team, as you said, that's not afraid to challenge, and Mark Wilson's got the arm. And that ball, if you looked at it, was almost 70 yards in the air, so that's quite a long throw.
One of the reasons Kenny Stabler was transported to Houston was Al Davis' disappointment in the vertical passing game as opposed to the horizontal one.
There's the statistic that we were talking about earlier, the comparison of Woodley to Wilson, of course.
Draw to Kenny King. A lot of Dolphins hanging around. Larry Gordon reached him first, so did Bob Baumhauer, number 73.
Look at this movement right here. There's still Sylvester, of course, on Baumhauer. Baumhauer's really played well for them this year. 8 sacks, of course, we talked about. But the thing that really helps him is that he's able to get down the line so fast. Again, something that's really important is a mobile nose man.
Dolphin defense, however, having problems containing Oakland this afternoon, as evidenced by that 5-for-7 statistic on third down conversion. Wilson in trouble across the middle of the bench. Broken up by Don McNeil, and heavy pressure applied by Kim Bocamper, number 58.
Mike, you know that the Miami Dolphins have had a history of coming out in the third quarter and really playing well. They've outscored their opponents 80-17, I think it is, in the third quarter. And this is a fired-up Miami Dolphin team. They know the likes of Don Shula when he's upset. This is what made them such a force in the third quarter.
Figueredo is the setback as Ray Guy gets set to punt. Figueredo, the leading return man in the AFC. Guy does not get off a patented punt. Takes a Miami bounce into the hands of Figueredo. And he is lucky he gained 4 yards there. Todd Christensen, number 46, reached him first. Oakland will put the...
Just an accidental meeting, huh?
That thing to the bounce as we watch the holding call against the Miami Dolphins. Now it's whether it was holding after the kick or before the kick. And they're going to give the ball to Miami, so that obviously they held after the kick was in the air. As we watch the referee mark off the 10-yard penalty, and he will call it, of course, for us.
Holding number 43 during the kick. The penalty is enforced from the spot of the dead ball. First down.
Ricky Ray was just acquired by the Miami Dolphins, and nice going, Professor Rowe.
Thank you, sir. I called that one just like I knew what was happening.
Miami at their own 19. 13:44 remaining here in the third quarter. Dolphins trail 21-3. Woodley into the arms of Rod Martin, who has just registered his 7th sack of the season.
This shows the versatility of the Oakland Raiders. Rod Martin, number 53, will be coming from the right side. He doesn't again get knocked off his feet. Woodley's got no one to throw to, and there, as you said, is his 7th sack. That's really important that a linebacker would have that many sacks this early in the season.
One thing that the Raiders have done well this year is in the sack department. They came into the game with 37, which trailed only the New York Jets in that department in all of the National Football League. Miami now, second down and 19 at their own 10. To Tony Nathan, trying to get some of that back. Nothing doing. Brent McClanahan, or rather Randy McClanahan, all over Mr. Nathan.
One thing that Miami has got to realize here is that they're not out of the ball game. Oakland scored 21 in the first quarter, and as we watch the offensive backs come up there, Miami can score 21 in the second half, I should say. But they've got to realize they've got to go to the things that they've done so well for so many games. Especially with Oakland's propensity for the turnover this year. They have played air-free football here this afternoon. And defensively have done a whale of a job on Mr. Woodley. Woodley looking for Cephalo. Overthrown. Howard Long, number 75, put some excellent pressure on Woodley, and they think highly of the big man from Villanova. So Tom Aris is on the field now for Miami to punt. Miami's first possession here in the second half did not amount to anything. Back deep is Ted Watts standing at midfield, and he has a chance to put the Oakland Raiders into great field position again. A low punt. It takes a Miami bounce, but Watts fields it, and it has running room with one blocker ahead of him. Fumble, but recovered by Monty Jackson, number 42. A 40-yard punt on a line, a 7-yard return by Ted Watts. So Oakland will put the ball in play at the Miami 44-yard line. 12-27 remaining.
Raiders lead 21-3. Now Miami Dolphin ticket. However, the Dolphins are playing like a bad C movie here this afternoon, Dave Rowe.
Well, that's been the only bright spot for the Miami Dolphins.
I didn't hear you say that. Raiders have the ball at the Miami 44. Give to Kenny King, one of the few times that the Raiders have elected to run on first down this afternoon.
And it worked out well for them, Mike. They're able to control the line of scrimmage. They're keeping Miami completely off guard. As we've said, we've been fooled several times trying to figure out what they're going to do. And of course, the only person who knows what they're going to do is that number 6 out there.
Second down and 6, a gain of 4 by King. Ball now just shy of the Miami 40-yard line. With Branch, motion right. Give to Kenny King. Looking for some help from Art Shell. But number 83, Vern Den Herder, the 11-year pro out of Central College in Iowa, was able to get rid of Mr. Shell and make the stop on Kenny King. No gain, third down and 6. Miami now has brought 5 defensive backs into the game. Don Veselo, number 46, and Fulton Walker have checked into the Dolphins secondary. Arthur Whittington now in the backfield replacing Kenny King. Wilson in trouble. And A.J. Dewey reached him first, but good support from Bob Baumhauer. That is Miami's first sack of the afternoon.
It certainly is, and it couldn't come at a better time for the Miami Dolphins because they've got to stop the powerful Oakland Raiders. They got great penetration that time. And for a person the size of Bob Baumhauer, you know, being 260 pounds, to get that mobility, that's really a plus for their nose man. Bob Chandler had a lot of problems that time getting off the line. We can see him right here. He's going to get jammed right there. That's a jam, a legal thing in the first 5 yards. He gets hit again. Now you can't touch him. And they didn't have to.
Critical defensive stand for the Dolphins. Ray Guy forced to punt, angling it for the right sidelines. However, it goes into the end zone touchback. So with 10:32 remaining after a 49-yard punt by Ray Guy, the Miami Dolphins will put the ball in play at their own 20. They trailed 21-3. Played for the Raiders and through 60 through 66 and actually earned a Super Bowl ring as a backup to Lenny Dawson when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl #4 against the Minnesota Vikings in New Orleans. Woodley on 1st and 10 out to Tony Nathan. A gain of 5 yards, stopped by Rod Martin. Gain of 3 yards, rather. Second down and 7.
You would think in this situation, Mike, that the Miami Dolphins would have to go to their wide receivers, but they've got so much respect for Tony Nathan that they continually give him the ball, trying to get him open. He's had a fantastic rushing average of 6.3, and he's already got 32 receptions, and he knows what to do with the ball. And they're also respecting the powerful rush of the Oakland Raiders. They are completely dominating the offensive line of Miami right now.
Second down, a little less than 8 yards to go for Miami at their own 22.5. Mix up in the backfield. Woodley will have to run. Ted Hendricks shedded the block of Andrew Franklin and was able to force Woodley out of bounds. And so it'll be third down and 6.
In fairness again to the Miami Dolphins, this is a defensive lineman's dream. I played on teams where you didn't get that situation very often, but they've got an 18-point lead. They're able just to tee off and fly after. It's a defensive lineman's dream to get this situation where you're always passing the ball.
Raiders now going with 4 defensive linemen. They have brought Cedric Hardman, the designated sacker, into the game along with Willie Jones, number 90. Hardman is 86. He's the right defensive end. Third and 6 at the 24. Woodley will throw. Heavy pressure. Jones had a hat in his face. Hendricks was blitzing, and so was Howie Long.
As I just said, the pressure that's in there on that quarterback is just monumental. It's just too much. You can't stand in that pocket. He's going to have to go to something to get a rollout type of a play to get out of that pocket. He's been successful with a rollout. I wouldn't be surprised to see him going on it.
2 possessions thus far in the second half have resulted in 2 punts. Orris back at his own goal line once again. Woodley has been sacked 3 times on the afternoon. Ted Watts standing at his own 47-yard line, moving up to midfield now. Low snap. Orris gets it off. Watts at his midfield, down the right sideline and out of bounds by Fulton Walker. But again, the Raiders will have the ball in excellent field position after a punt of 35 yards by Tom Orris. The Raiders will put the ball in play at the Miami 34. There is 9:06 remaining here in the third quarter. The Dolphins trail the Raiders 21-3. Stay with us. Miami's backup quarterback has started to warm up on the sideline. We may see him replace David Woodley, but the Raiders have the ball at the moment at the Miami 34-yard line. Frank Hawkins, the rookie, number 27, paired with Kenny King. Wilson rolls to his right. He's got Malcolm Barnwell, number 80, a tremendous throw and catch down to the 15 and out of bounds. Malcolm Barnwell has only caught 2 passes this season for 74 yards. That pass play covered 15.
Well, just when I said that Woodley would go to a roll, Mark Wilson does. We can see the crossing pattern here. And there's Barnwell coming in. A good catch right there. Boy, what an average he's got from Virginia Union only in his first year.
He has caught 1 61-yard touchdown pass this season. I believe that came against the Minnesota Vikings in a big Raider win. Wilson trying to loft it for Chandler. But Gerald Small, number 28, or rather Don McNeil, number 28, right there in the coverage. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KRON-TV, Channel 4, San Francisco.
Mike Adamle and Dave Rowe here in the Orange Bowl, where the Dolphins trail the Oakland Raiders 21-3. Raiders are threatening once again at the 15-yard line of Miami. 2nd down and 10, and now Todd Christensen, number 46, in the Oakland backfield. Wilson, the throw. He's got Christensen. Ernie Rowe, number 55, was there in the coverage, but Christensen had a step and perhaps the touch that will only come with years and years of experience. That was the only thing missing on that Mark Wilson pass.
It certainly was. Mark Wilson throwing the ball excellent. We can't talk too much about the consistency he's had today, and as the Oakland Raider fans know, that right now there's happiness in Raiderville. The Oakland Raiders have got one fan out there, a good friend of mine, Ralph Greer, who's probably one of the greatest fans in this league, and I know he's enjoying today's game.
Barnwell, number 80, in the slot to the left along with Chandler. 3rd down and 10. Wilson up top looking for Barnwell. Again, nice coverage supplied by Don McNeil. And number 50, Larry Gordon. So Chris Barr will step onto the field in an attempt a field goal for Oakland.
An interesting sideline as we watched Mark Wilson walk this sideline is that they didn't really think he was a great leader until he came to this team, and they say that that's one area that he's really worked hard on, is leading these Oakland Raiders. And you know, of course, the great Kenny Stabler, of course. Look at that arm, by the way. I believe that's where he got his arm hurt on that tackle earlier on that kickoff.
From 32 yards out, Chris Barr's kick is up, and it is good. So Barr, bad arm and all, lengthens the Raiders' lead 24-3. We have 8:34 remaining here in the third quarter.
It really affects a field goal kicker with his arm in a sling like that.
And look at this boot by Ray Guy. Fulton Walker fields it about 8 yards deep in his own end zone. Mr. Guy can just do it all. Punting, place kicking.
He kicked very, very well when I was with Oakland, and of course Chris Barr, has kicked also well. But Ray, the thing that made Ray so great is that he was the 11th man on that kickoff team, and many times had the game-saving tackle. Well, look who's new there.
Number 10, John Strock, the backup quarterback, has replaced David Woodley. He is the insurance policy that Don Shula enjoys. He's going to try to get things going for the Dolphins. Jeff Taves, number 60, has replaced Bob Kuchenberg now. And that off. first and 10. Screen pass. Out to Eddie Hill with 3 blockers in front of him. Bounces it outside. And has got a Miami first down up out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Tackled by Matt Millen. Gain of 15 yards. Right now, let's go to Byron Day in New York for an NFL update. We've got a wild scramble in the AFC's Eastern Division if Miami does not manage to beat the Oakland Raiders here this afternoon. First and 10 at their own 36. Strock to throw again. To Cephalo. Knocked out of bounds by Monty Jackson after a gain of second down and 3. Pittsburgh on top of the Atlanta Falcons. They're in an angry mood after getting upset by the Seattle Seahawks a week ago. 3 Terry Bradshaw touchdown passes. Denver leading Tampa Bay 14-7 in the second half. And the Jets on top of New England, as Byron Day mentioned, 17-3. Top of the Buffalo Bills 10-0. Another big game in the AFC's Eastern Division. Philadelphia 24, Baltimore 6. The troubles continue. Los Angeles hanging tough against the Cincinnati Bengals despite their problems. And Minnesota on top of the New Orleans Saints 13-3 in the third quarter. Green Bay on top of the Bears 21-10. Starr looking for his 3rd consecutive win. Miami with a first and 10 at their own 48-yard line. They trail by 21. Draw play. Eddie Hill's got a lot of running room. He could break it. He's got speed. Down to the 30-yard line. Dragged down from behind by number 23, Otis McKinney.
Well, we mentioned several times the play of Ted Hendricks. As we watch this block right here, it's just a simple look-in block. He kicks Ted Hendricks inside, and he's off to the races right here. We can see the later part of this play as we watch this run. Eddie Hill's got a long way to go right here, and he could have broken, as you said. But Strock has made some great play calls. He's moved them 40 or 50 yards already, and they're back into it.
Credit Eric Laxo and tight end Joe Rose with great blocks. Hill just recently returned from the injured reserve list. Goes for it all, intended for Cephalo, but he was in double coverage with Otis McKinney and number 42, Monty Jackson, trailing him like a shadow. Don Shula does believe that David Woodley is the Dolphins' future. However, he is never, ever afraid to put in Don Strock into the contest.
Well, this early tenure in Woodley's career, he's got to realize he's going to have up and down games, and that's what Shula does realize that.
Strock to Rose. Touchdown saving tackle by number 44, Burgess Owens. It'll be 3rd down and 2. After 21 of Oakland. 5:53 remaining here at third quarter. Raiders lead the Dolphins 24-3.
In this 3rd down situation, Miami's only converted 3 out of 11, and that's a very poor percentage. They've got to do better than that to get back into this game. There's the statistics, 50% for the Raiders. Not too good for the old Miami Dolphins.
Exchange problems. Number 63, Mark Dennert, 3rd-year man out of Texas A&M.
They say a center can never be offsides, and he wasn't that one time, but all the other 10 guys were.
Illegal snap, number 63 offense.
So instead of 3rd and 2, it'll be 3rd down and 7. John Sandusky, the man with the headset on, offensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins, next to Don Shula. 3 wide receivers in the game. Tommy Vigorito in the slot, left slot. That's the third wide out for Miami. He's got Vigorito and a first down. A gain of 11 yards and a first down for Miami. And credit Tom Vigorito, who has proven to be an excellent spot player for the Dolphins.
As we watch from the end zone here, Vigorito's coming across his play right here. There's the pass, he catches it. If it had been a good pass, he might have gone all the way. But this Miami fan, they've sat through almost 3/4 of the game and haven't had anything to cheer about. They've come alive now.
62,000 plus here in the Orange Bowl. Cephalo in motion right. Drop to Eddie Hill. To the blocker in front. Down to the 10-yard line. Ed Newman, number 64, out in front. Burgess Owens made the tackle.
What a block here on Rod Martin as we watch him coming in from his linebacker spot. Right there. Good block. He rolls into him. Of course, drives him off and knocks him off his feet. They've got a chance to get back in this ballgame. They've got to score on this drive. There's no question of that.
Eddie Newman, a 9-year pro out of Duke. All pro material. And an outstanding job at right guard for the Dolphins. Second down and 5. Brock throwing again. Intended for Jimmy Cephalo off his fingertips. Lester Hayes was right there, though. Had Cephalo caught that ball, I believe he would have been out of bounds. Right now, let's go to Byron Day in New York for an update. So a backup quarterback playing in Tampa Bay and a backup quarterback trying to lead the Dolphins here. Don Strock at the controls after David Woodley failed to get things going in the first half in the initial 2 possessions of the second half. Third down and 5. Ball is resting at the Oakland 10. Flags are down, almost picked off by Money Jackson, intended for Duriel Harris.
This is going to bring up a big call right here, whether the quarterback tried to draw him offside, which he's unable to do, or whether it was drawn off just by the count. And you don't even have to say what it is because the fans answered it. They called offsides, of course, on the Oakland Raiders.
Here's Jerry Seaman, the head referee. He'll be making the call as they walk off 5 yards against the Raiders.
Offside, number 75 defense. First down.
The big rookie out of Villanova, Howie Long.
We can see him jump to the right side of our picture here. The voice inflection threw him off, and it's something that every young rookie's got to learn, that you don't go on the sound, you go on the ball.
Voice inflections are okay. Head bobs are out. That's
right.
illegal.
Exactly right.
First and goal from the 5. Miami desperately needs a score. Eddie Hill. Touchdown. So Eddie Hill, a third-year pro out of Memphis State, behind the blocking of John Giesler, scores his touchdown for Miami.
As we watch Hill, number 31, cut back into play, the interesting thing is that Don Strock has driven this team about 70 yards for a score, and Don Shula has not abandoned his game plan. That's the mark of a great football coach. He stayed with his game plan, and they feel that they have a chance to get back in this ball game.
Uwe von Schaman with Strock holding, attempting the point. It is up. It is good. And so finally, the Dolphins have come back with a touchdown. It's 24-10 here in the third quarter. And Dave Rowe here in the Orange Bowl, as you take a look at that Miami Dolphins scoring drive of 9 plays, 80 yards, 4:44 knocked off the clock. It took the Dolphins nearly 3 quarters to come up with their initial touchdown. Raiders lead 24-10. Von Schaman kicks off. And he hits a beauty. Hawkins, deep in his end zone, says, I'm going to play it smart and stay in. Eddie Hill, a third-year man out of Memphis State. Nice little cutback here.
Yes, he certainly did. He cut back against the flow. Kind of reminded me of Bucky Gunston. He used to run at, what was the name of that college our director ran at?
I didn't even know he went to school. Tremendous job of blocking by John Giesler from Michigan. The Raiders now trying to pull the momentum back to their side. Again, Wilson to throw. First and 10, screen to Derek Jensen. Dewey missed the tackle, but it slowed Jensen up enough to allow other Miami players to converge.
Dewey was right there. He comes into the picture from your left side. He'll come in late into the picture. But Jensen kept his feet, but as you said, it allowed him to get, as we watch the play develop here, it's hard. There's Baumhauer coming across the field right there, trying to get back into play. So that's just a mass of bodies right there.
Gain of 2, second and 8 for Oakland at their own 22. For Cliff Branch, or rather Malcolm Barnwell, number 80, on a play that perhaps they could have called offense or defensive pass interference.
It certainly looked that way, as Lyle Blackwood looked like he hit him a little bit early, but of course that's a referee's decision. And one thing about these referees, you know, Mike, you played long enough, these referees are very, very efficient. I'd say they grade out 99% every week. Excellent job.
I agree. Whittington has come into the game, number 22, the speedster from SMU, replacing Kenny King. 5 defensive backs in the game for Miami. This crowd in Miami's Orange Bowl has come alive and gone berserk because of the great defensive play of the Miami Dolphins.
Watch A.J. Dewey coming around the outside here. Again, putting that ever-present pressure right there on Mark Wilson, and he knows he's there. But you're right, the crowd has come alive, and Miami's going to get the ball in good field position unless Ray Guy gets off one of those patented 60 or 70-yarders.
Figueredo now standing at his own 34-yard line in single safety formation. Fulton Walker is at about midfield. Guy's punt is high. Figueredo fields it at his 36. Across the 40. And knocked out of bounds by Todd Christensen, number 46. So Miami, after a 41-yard punt by Ray Guy and an 8-yard return, will put the ball in play there. We've got 2:38 remaining here in the third quarter. The Raiders lead 24-10. Stay with us. The crowd was dormant in the first half. They have had a fire lit underneath them by Don Schrock, who has replaced David Whitley. Got the Dolphins on the board with a touchdown, and now has them threatening again. Schrock on first and 10 to Joe Rowe. Gain of 5 or 6 on the play. Second down and 5.
The thing that's been really big on these last two series is that Don Schrock has come in and ignited this offense. The crowd's getting behind him. We've got a ball game on our hands. They're 2 touchdowns down, but they've got the whole fourth quarter, and they feel they can get in this game. And listen to these fans coming alive out here.
New center in the game for Miami, Dwight Stevenson replacing Mark Dennard. So keep an eye on the center exchange. Schrock again to throw. Going to Harris. He was in one-on-one coverage with Monty Jackson, and Jackson is one of the fine cornerbacks in all of football. 7th-year man out of San Diego State. He was not to be fooled by Duriel Harris. So it's 3rd down and 5 for Miami. 2:27 remaining here in the third quarter. working one-on-one against Monty Jackson. Nothing doing. So for the first time in the second half, Tom Orris, the rookie free agent from Ohio State, will come onto the field and punt for the Dolphins.
And boy, has he been effective inside the 20-yard line. I think he's got 1 or 2 today, and he's got 14 already for the year. So he's had an excellent punting average for these Miami Dolphins.
For a change, Dave, he's not punting from his own end zone.
That's right.
This time he's at his 36. Ted Watts standing at his 13. Orris bounces at the 10, but into the end zone for a touchback. So the Oakland Raiders were able to stifle Don Strock and company, punt of 48 yards into the end zone. The Thanksgiving Day tradition of exciting and unpredictable NFL football action continues on NBC Sports November 26th. Start your Turkey Day at 12 noon Eastern Time with a special holiday edition of NFL 81 with host Brian Gumbel. Then the playoff-hungry Kansas City Chiefs will take on Billy Sims and the Detroit Lions. That's all Thanksgiving Day right here on NBC Sports. He's done it so many times. Will he throw? First and 10. No. Give it to 38 Chester Willis. He gains about 4.5 yards, 5 yards out to the 25. Second and 5.
Has been the situation so many times this year. The Oakland Raiders have played almost perfect football through almost three quarters of the game as we watch Dewey coming across there, and he does an excellent job. But the point I was going to make is that I know Tom Flores is over there saying, let's not have a turnover, let's not have a fumble in this situation because it's just a crush.
A.J. Dewey found out what it's like to be manhandled by Art Shell. Wilson's second and 5 toss is caught by Derek Ramsey. Again, A.J. Dewey from his linebacker position to make the stop.
So the Dolphins actually started this situation using a linebacker defensive end type with Bob Matheson. Of course, the famous 53 defense for so many years here. And they've kept right in the tradition with A.J. Dewey in the same role. And as I said, that really messes up your blocking assignments because he's standing up here and the guard's looking at him, and all of a sudden the guard starts a pass block on him and he's dropping off, so it's kind of tough.
They can do the same thing with number 58, Kim Bokamper, as well, who's also an excellent football player. He is in the game right now playing right defensive end in place of Vernden Herter. Oakland has just picked up the first down with just under 1:20 remaining here in the third quarter, and they have a 14-point lead over the Dolphins, 24-10. Slot formation left for the Raiders. Branch in the slot, Chandler out wide, flag on the play, flip to Chester. Baumhauer there to greet him.
If I was to venture a guess, I'd say it was illegal motion because I think the motion man turned upfield a little bit early.
You have to follow the line of scrimmage in a parallel manner. And indeed, you are right.
2 out of 2. I'm really doing great today. Mark Wilson certainly has fooled me, but the referees have not.
Illegal motion, number 31 offense.
Derek Jensen started upfield a bit too soon. So it'll be first and 15 for the Raiders at their own 25. Jensen breaks 1, 2, 3 tackles. Hoofs his way out across the 30-yard line before Ernie Rohn brings him down.
The Oakland Raiders have been traditionally a big fullback team with the Marv Hubbard days and the Mark Van Egan days, and Jensen certainly fits right into that mold, the big old fullback following those big old offensive linemen.
Again, if you're looking for factors in that 4-6 Oakland record, As most Bay Area fans know, Mark Van Eegen has not been in the lineup because of hamstring problems, and now has not played today because of a knee. They take Tim Beaucamper off the field. But Van Eegen is Oakland's all-time leading rusher, and you just don't replace a guy like that overnight. As promising as Jensen is, he is not quite yet Mark Van Eegen.
Well, there's so many other intangibles, the handoff time, the quarterback having the confidence in him. There's a lot of things that enter into that.
Wilson in trouble, was looking for Jensen. Jensen was trying to break free from Ernie Roan. The ubiquitous one out of Henderson, Arkansas. Well, Bob Trumpy and Bob Costas are enjoying quite a game in Atlanta. Pittsburgh Steelers taking it to the Atlanta Falcons 27-17 in the fourth quarter. Bartkowski has brought the Falcons back with a 30-yard touchdown pass to Alfred Jenkins. Denver 24-10 over Tampa Bay. Steve DeBerg has come on to replace Craig Morton and has thrown a touchdown pass to Larry Canada. Jets from top of New England 17-6. Wilson to throw on 3rd and 8. And number 58, Tim Beaucamper. Whale of a play.
Well, they got pressure on old Mark Wilson that time. We'll watch Beaucamper come from the top of your screen there, breaking through number 58. There's nowhere for him to go right there because there was Dewey in his face, number 77. So it's going to bring up another interesting field position here because they're going, as the quarter changes, we're in a ball game, Mike.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. It's Oakland 24, Miami 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Well, I'm sure you would hear a collective roar. The Jets on top of the New England Patriots 17-6. If Buffalo loses today to St. Louis and Miami loses, the Jets will be but a half game behind the Dolphins in the AFC's Eastern Division. The Bills would be a full game out, and the Jets and the Dolphins play next week in Shea Stadium. Guys pick. Unbelievable, driving Vigorito back to his 18-yard line. Finally, Ted Watts strings it out and knocks him out of bounds at the 21-yard line. A 58-yard punt, a 3-yard return. 59 yards. Again, probably critical when it comes to deciding who's the winner with tie-breaking procedures. Buffalo has a 4-1 interdivision record. Miami has a 3-1-1 interdivision record. The Jets have a 3-1-1 interdivision record. However, could go to 4-1-1 with a victory over the Patriots. Miami is playing a AFC Western Division opponent today in Oakland. Of course, Buffalo playing an NFC opponent in St. Louis.
Well, a few weeks ago, they were calling for the job of the coach of New York Jets, and now they're cheering for him.
Don Strock, play-action pass out to Tony Nathan. He has got the first down before Otis McKinney drags him down from behind, a gain of 11 yards. 14:32 remaining here in the fourth and final quarter. The Dolphins on a tail end of a 24-10 deficit. As I mentioned earlier in the telecast, the Dolphins have 5 remaining games. 3 of those are at home. Philadelphia is at home, New England's at home, and so is Buffalo. And over the last 10 years, David, they have quite a record here in the OB.
Those are tough games, too. I don't care where you're playing.
Rod Martin, number 53, his second sack of the day, beat guard Jeff Taves for a sack.
Number 53, Rod Martin, coming from a stand-up linebacker position. He's already got 6 sacks. He's got 7 now. This is number 8. But he just keeps his leverage, just gets underneath there. There's no place for Woodley to go. Rod Martin's another reclaimed player by Al Davis.
Well, despite the 4-6 record, there is nothing wrong with this Oakland defense. They have been playing very, very tough.
Well, that's what everybody has said, you know, but of course, they lost the 2 games on the last play, and they certainly feel they could be 8-2. Nathan
gets back to the initial line of scrimmage. Again, Rod Martin He has been all over the field this afternoon, and Ted Hendricks chasing him down from behind. Rod Martin said an interesting thing. He said, I know how good Ted Hendricks is because everybody is running at my side.
Yeah, that's always true, and that's true in the secondary, too. We've seen him attack Monty Jackson, who, of course, is a great player, but a lot of that is in respect to Lester Hayes and a great season he had last year. I don't know of a player that plays better one-on-one defense than Lester Hayes.
3rd and 18 for Miami. Strock was looking for Duriel Harris. Burgess Owens was there in the coverage. So Tom Orris will step onto the field and punt the ball away. So after igniting an initial fire under Miami's offense, Don Strock has come up short 2 times in a row. And Orris will be back at his own 10-yard line. Ted Watts, who can change the field position in a big hurry, is back at his 40-yard line. Orris is kicked high and driving Watts back to his 30 where he calls for a fair catch. And that's where the Raiders will put it in play at the 33, a 43-yard punt and no return. 12:48 to go here in the 4th and final quarter. Raiders lead by 12:48 remaining. And as you can see, the Oakland Raiders on top of the Miami Dolphins 24-10. Story of the day thus far, the play of Mark Wilson. 3 touchdown passes on the day. And a 32-yard field goal by Chris Barr, and you have the Oakland offensive story. Wilson looking for more. Branch. And Dave, that is about the 3rd time that I have seen Branch in that type of pattern pull up short.
Well, I think he looked back at the ball that time, and it was an awful high throw, and he might have lost it in the sun or something like that, in fairness to him, but that's a long way to haul it. I'll tell you, boy, you're running 60, 70 yards, but what do you think of the arm of Mark Wilson? Think they've got a good choice, don't you?
Oh, he is a gun. Oakland really has no chance of winning the AFC Western Division title. 4 of their 6 losses have come twice to Denver and twice to Kansas City. They can only hope for a wild card berth, and they would have to win their remaining 6 in all probability. Give it to Frank Hawkins. And he is a good-looking youngster out of Nevada Reno, just 5'10", but 210. Very quick. Gain of 5, it'll be 3rd and 5. Ernie Rowan there, as you see, the Raiders' remaining schedule. 2 games against San Diego and that 1 against Seattle. The Raiders never play well up in the Kingdom.
They certainly do not. They don't like going up there. We never liked it when I was there, and they don't like it now. We haven't talked much about the Oakland Raider offensive line, but they're in a transition period with the age of Upshaw and Art Shell. But they certainly have played well today.
Wilson to throw again. To Arthur Whittington, almost a great catch, but a tremendous defensive play by number 48, Gerald Small. So Ray Guy will have to come on and punt.
As I said, we haven't talked much. There's Henry Lawrence, number 70 right there. There's the ploy of a defensive and offensive lineman. Look at that contact in there. Betters does a good job, and Henry loses him late, but I'll tell you one thing. That's a real force in there. Wow.
Aren't you supposed to keep your hand open?
Well, the Oakland Raiders always are. They're allowed to keep their hands a little bit more closed than normal.
Guy from his own 23. A wobbler and a fair catch called for by Figueredo at his 27. So the Dolphins are running out of chances. They trail the Raiders by 14, 24-10. 11:48 remaining here in the 4th and final quarter. Against a stingy Oakland defense, 11:48 and 14 points to make up is not a whole heck of a lot of time.
It certainly is not, but they've got to get something going now if they want to get back.
To Nathan. Again, Rod Martin, who all over the field, makes the tackle, along with Burgess Owens. You know, the NBC is contractually obligated to televise the Oakland Raiders game back to the Bay Area. Now, by contract, only one NBC NFL telecast can be aired in San Francisco. Now, because of the unusual circumstances, San Francisco doing so well, NBC Sports, we asked the NFL if a delayed broadcast could be aired of the Cleveland-San Francisco game. They agreed, the NFL did, and it will be on a tape-delay basis starting at 11:30 in San Francisco, Sacramento, and Salinas, California. 2nd and 7 for the Dolphins. Give us to Eddie Hill. Willie Jones all over his body. Now, this looks like the Oakland Raiders of yore, a year ago.
It certainly does. I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with the style of play. You know, a lot of teams, and it goes back to the pride of the Oakland Raiders. I know that's been, maybe that cliche has been used many, many times. But there's some great football players out there with great natural ability, but they've got a great amount of pride, and no one wants to be embarrassed. And I'll tell you, they're playing just like they're going for the Super Bowl again. 5
defensive backs and 4 defensive linemen. Pressure. Nat Moore, he would have had to have made a tremendous catch from behind. Again, tremendous pressure applied by number 75, Howie Long, and 86. Nasty, they call him, the great Cedric Hardman. Tremendous years with the San Francisco 49ers, and you know him well, David.
I certainly do. I've always had a great regard for him. And they're having a lot of fun over in San Francisco, as the fans out there will see a little bit later. You've alluded to it several times, but San Francisco's having some happy moments now.
Bill Walsh has struck gold with his young 49ers defense and offense. Orris will punt from his own 15. This is a low liner and takes a Oakland bounce as it bounds along the 35-yard line and finally down by Bruce Hardy. A 35-yard punt and a 0 return. 10:08 remaining here in the fourth quarter. The Raiders on top, 24-10. Ball, and the Pittsburgh Steelers in an angry mood. In Atlanta, 34-17. Denver on top of Tampa Bay, 24-7. Jets in a big game, 17-6 over New England. St. Louis on top of Buffalo, 17-0 in the fourth. Philadelphia, 38. Baltimore, 13. Fourth quarter action also. Flags all over the field as Mark Wilson hands off to Frank Hawkins. Derek Ramsey appeared to be the man guilty of illegal procedure.
You called that just before I was going to say that. I was going to be 3 for 3. I was going to say that Derek Ramsey took off sides, but
I'm leaving you all the tough one, like the integrity calls. Cincinnati, wow, are they something? 24-3 over the Rams in the fourth. Minnesota on top of New Orleans, 20-3. Same old story in the NFC's Central Division. Green Bay on top of Chicago, but only by 4 in the fourth quarter. Bears coming back. Kansas City in a critical game for the Chiefs and the Oilers, 10-3 at halftime. Well, Tom Flores has not had much to smile about this season, but he has to be extremely pleased by the way his Raiders, and in particular Mark Wilson, number 6, have played this afternoon. 3rd and 15. Intended for Ramsey and overthrown, so Ray Guy, whose foot is getting quite a workout, will warm up on the sidelines. It is now 3rd and 15.
Well, Miami's just really waiting right now for a break. They need some type of a break. Of course, we've mentioned several times that Oakland has played errorless football today, and when you're averaging over 3 turnovers a game, you're bound to have one, and that's what Miami is playing for right now. They're waiting for the big turnover to turn the game around and get a chance to get back into it, but Oakland continues to play excellent football.
Wilson on the day, 14 for 33, 164 yards, but 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Whittington. He has got water bug quickness, but Doug Betters doesn't allow him much room to roam. Brzezinski was there as well. Final score, the Denver Broncos now up their record to 8-3 in the AFC's Western Division. They're 24-7 winners over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Frank Hawkins has checked into the game for the Raiders. Double wide receiver formation to the left. Malcolm Barnwell in the slot. Wilson going for it all. Ramsey in and out of his hands. Wilson's pass was on target. Ramsey couldn't find the handle.
I'm going to make you a wager right now. I know we don't wager, but I'm going to say that Ray Guy gets off a 50-yard or better punt. Because knowing Ray like I do, and he's had so many great ones, he hasn't had a bad day, but for him, a 43 or 44-yard average is just average. But you watch this one. He punts best under pressure, of course.
I can remember my rookie year when we had a punter named Gerald Wilson, and he would shake his head in amazement. He said, someday that boy is just going to kick the living daylights out of me. On the field, I mean. Guys, punt. There it is, David. Woo! Vigorito at his 18. He's got room down the left sideline, and Ray Guy makes a sure tackle. That is the only problem with a punt that long. They are eminently returnable. How long was it?
52 yards, of course. But you know, an interesting thing on that, you saw who made the tackle. There was Ray Guy. That's the point I brought up on the kickoff, that he's always the 11th man. He plays great football, and he's a player continually.
Remember, next Sunday, start your Sunday with host Brian Gummel and NFL 81, all the scores and highlights and late-breaking news from around the league. Then an NFL doubleheader featuring a battle of comeback quarterbacks. Craig Morton and the Denver Broncos take on Kenny Anderson and the Cincinnati Bengals. Plus, Miami meets the New York Jets in a key interdivision contest. Miami has 8:51 to get 14 points back. Strock to throw, but flags are down. Nathan breaks the tackle of Burgess-Owen, and then McClanahan. Gain of 21 yards of the play, but again, flags are down.
Mike, as one-sided as this game seems in favor of the Oakland Raiders,
offside,
you know
left tackle on the defense, penalty declined, first down.
As I was going to say, as we watch him jump here, and we, of course, watch Strock complete the pass, with a Shula-coached football team, you're never out of it. He has great confidence in these players. Look at this break right here by Nathan. That's why they want to get him the ball, because he can do so much with it.
Dolphins have the ball at the Raiders 33. 8:51 remaining here. Fourth and final quarter. Dolphins trail by 14. Harris wide to the right. Cephalo wide to the left. Give us to Nathan. And Dave Brannick slides into the ground at the 31. Gain of 2, second down and 8.
It's an interesting thing that they're running the ball with only 8.5 minutes, but you never know when a play like that, when a team is really geared to rush the passer, you can break that little delay play, that little draw. You can break it for 20, 30 yards, and you're into the secondary. As soon as you break through the line, boom, you're into the secondary, and you've got a 20 or 30-yard run, which is just as good as a pass in this situation.
And they've had some success with Eddie Hill doing that earlier. He now joins Nathan in the backfield. Rock. Harris in and out of his arms. Monty Jackson on the coverage. That would have been a tremendous catch by Duriel Harris, because he was also looking into the face of a Miami Sun.
He certainly was. As we get late in the game here, watch Duriel Harris on this little simple out pattern. He looks Jackson inside, and there's his cut to the outside. It was a well-thrown ball, but as you said, he's looking back into his son. Look how close the game of football is.
He has been the Dolphins' bread and butter receiver so far this season, and without question, Strock will have to look for him as the game winds down to its final moments. Pirate formation, 5 defensive backs for the Raiders. Dwayne Osteen in the game. Strock again to throw, heavy pressure, but gets it off to that Moore, and Moore has a Miami first down at the Oakland 18.
That's the best pass that Don Strock has thrown today. Under tremendous pressure as he dropped back, he unloaded that ball to Nat Moore on a crossing pattern, and as you say, picked up the first down. There's a lot of time left.
Strock again to Cephalo. Inside the 10 to the 7. First and goal to go for the 7-yard line, 11-yard completion.
pretty good statistics for a backup player, and he just wants a chance to play. He could play for a lot of teams, but he has to back up here and back up Daryl Harris and Nat Moore. But that's almost an undefensible pattern, that quick slant pattern in.
Cefalo now wide to the right. Miami first and goal to go on their own 8-yard line. The blitz is on. Here comes Ron Martin. Here's the pass to Cefalo, and broken up against by Lester Hayes.
Well, I'll tell you, Lester Hayes has had probably one of the best years you could possibly have as a defensive back, and that was the exact same pattern, and you saw the results. As I said, Lester Hayes, number 37, is probably one of the best one-on-one play coverage men there is. You can see him coming into your scene right there. Look at that. You just couldn't cover it better.
So now it's second and goal from the 8.
There it is again. Look at the play by Lester Hayes. And that's one-on-one coverage with no cushion. Look at him right there as he drops back off another angle.
Brock in big trouble. Otis McKinney. Brock fumbles the ball. And fortunately for the Dolphins, he recovers his own fumble. Now, Dave Rowe, what do you do? 6:20 remaining in the game. Dolphins looking at a 3rd and 14 situation. If they do not pick up the touchdown here, do you go for it or do you kick a field goal?
I've got to go for it. 2 touchdowns down. I've got to go for it. And I think Don Shula realizes that. He's got to score touchdowns. He doesn't need field goals right now.
Only the 2nd head coach in the history of the Dolphins. George Wilson was the original coach when the franchise got underway back in 1966.
Tony Nathan. And look who he goes back to the back. Tony Nathan, number 22, in a crossing pattern against the number 1 draft choice, and he knew what to do when he got it there. You can see the reception that Tony Nathan has. He's had 32 coming into this game, and he knows what to do with the ball when he gets there.
Uwe von Schaumann can narrow the gap to just 7 points if he can convert here. This looms as an awfully big extra point. It is up. It is good. 5 minutes and 48 seconds remaining here in the Orange Bowl. The crowd electrified. Here's the TD one more time, Dave.
As we watch Tony Nathan will swing out of the pattern on the right side of your set. You can see him. He's just one-on-one right there with Ted Watson. It's no contest. Look at those receptions just for the day. 7 receptions, almost 100 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Shula's got his Dolphins back in this ball game. 5:48 remaining. They trail the Raiders by 7, 24-17.
You say back in the game, but I bet you Don Shula never thought that he was out. I listened to a great conversation between he and Al Davis ahead of time. Boy, they must be great friends. They have a great lot of respect for each other.
Arthur Whittington and Chester Willis, number 38, are back deep for Oakland. Tom Flores giving some instructions to Mark Wilson. He'll try to get the Raiders some more insurance points when he takes the field after this kickoff. Whittington at his own goal line. Across the 20 out to the 24.5-yard line, Eric Laxow and Kent Poole. Number 78 was the man to hit him first.
This is another great learning experience for Mark Wilson, and as you said, as we watch, there's a flag on the play, which could be very interesting. And it's going to be, it's holding against the Oakland Raiders. But Tom Flores in this situation is trying to calm his young quarterback down, trying to tell him, don't try to do anything that would cause a turnover. Play our normal game, exactly what we're doing best. We're running the ball well. Those are the things that we're doing best in this situation. As we watch him continue to talk right there.
Above the waist during the return, number 90 on the receiving team. First down.
Illegal block above the waist. We have seen that so many times across the National Football League this season. Puts the Raiders even deeper into their own territory, their own 14. David, they've had a lot of success throwing the ball on 1st and 10. Will they gamble? As we look at this final, Jets 17, New England 6.
Listen to this crowd.
Getting conservative.
Yes, he is. He has to in this situation because, again, he doesn't want the turnover. They've had so many this year, and that's what Tom has said to him, Coach Flores on the sideline, saying, Mark, go to what you do best. See if we can pick up a first down, get the momentum back onto our side, and control the ball.
If you look at that Jet final, I'm sure that Walt Michaels is not hoping for a Miami comeback. 2nd down and 7 at the 17th. 5:04 remaining. Wilson, Kenny King trying to go outside. Glenn Blackwood, number 47, drags King down. No gain, 3rd down and 6.
As we watch the clock tip down in the upper picture there, as this Miami Dolphin defense is going into the huddle, they're saying, everybody give it all for one big play here. So they want to stop them, and they'll get the ball back in excellent field position, and then it's going to be put the burden on the Oakland Raiders.
Wilson to throw to Chandler. 1st down. Oakland's 3rd down efficiency has been cut down this year by the absence of Bob Chandler in the lineup. There is why he's so important.
You said it in the pregame talk, in our pregame talk, and that's the evidence right there. They're able to go to Bob Chandler. That's the factor that he plays in this game.
And it has momentarily silenced this partisan Miami crowd. Chandler, 11 years in the league. Played his collegiate ball, I'm sure you know it, the University of Southern California. Give us to Whittington. Whittington gets, or rather Frank Hawkins. It is Whittington, yes, 22. Gain of 6, 4. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is Channel 4, KRON-TV, San Francisco.
Mike Adamle and Dave Rowe here in the Orange Bowl. Miami trailing the Raiders 17-24 by 7 points. But the Raiders have the ball with 3:41 remaining. Wilson looking for Chandler again. An excellent defensive play provided by number 28, Don McNeil.
It certainly was, but I really like the confidence of Mark Wilson out there throwing. I think he's really developed well. As we watch Chandler come off the line here, he's against McNeil, and McNeil knows he's got his hands filled right there. Look at all those moves he's making right there. Only a second year, McNeil is, and that's an excellent play.
Toughest position in pro football, the cornerback, always under the microscope.
You never have a second chance. If you make a mistake there, it's 7 points.
3rd down and 7, critical. Possession down for the Raiders. Wilson. Oh, he's got Raymond Chester.
What a catch Raymond Chester made on that play. And hasn't he had a great career? All these Raiders and Dolphins have had great careers. That's why they've been so successful over so many years.
Chester had been replaced in the starting lineup by Derek Ramsey, but watch this catch here.
Just stretched out. You'll see it right there. It's a perfectly thrown pass. There's the defensive person coming in, and look at that catch by Raymond Chester. 12 years. A lot of them spent with Oakland. Back to Baltimore, now back to Oakland.
So now the Raiders still have the ball and only 3:25 remaining. 1st and 10 at the Miami 42. Chester Willis, the ball carrier, for 1 or 2.
I think he got none.
Another final in the National Football League, and this is why this season is so hard to figure out. The Buffalo Bills shut out by the St. Louis Cardinals 24-0. And you would figure after losing to the Dallas Cowboys last Monday night that Chuck Knox's gang would come out with fire in their eyes. Wilson. Out of the grasp of betters. And you know what Don Shula is arguing about.
I'll let you say it.
Last year they instituted the quarterback protection rule.
Right.
If he is in their grasp, they should blow the whistle. That's what Shula felt right there.
He certainly did. You know, another sidelight as we watch Wilson here on his scramble. He's done this several times this year. He's had quite a few scrambles. Right there, was he in the arms of a, well, I would think it was close. He's got a good ability to run. But what I was going to say in Buffalo in that St. Louis game, you know, Buffalo was embarrassed last week, and I mean, St. Louis was embarrassed, and they certainly played with some pride today, didn't they?
2:39 remain here in the fourth and final quarter. Raiders on top 24-17. Wilson, well, he's had quite an afternoon. 3 touchdown passes. One to Bob Chandler of 37 yards, one to Derek Ramsey, another one of 13 yards to Todd Christensen. Raiders led early, 21-0. Von Schaman gave the Dolphins their first points of the day right before halftime with a field goal. And then Strock took over in the second half for Miami and led them down the field for a score. First a touchdown run by Eddie Hill, and then that touchdown pass to Tony Nathan. That's how it stands. That's how the picture was painted here in the Orange Bowl this afternoon. 3rd down and 6 for the Raiders. And Wilson, the last 2 third down possessions, has been able to come up with big plays. David, if Miami loses this game, they will drop to 7-3-1 and make that contest next week in Shea Stadium a most interesting one.
Yes, it certainly will. That's what you call it, basically a very tight 3-top division.
There you see the clock. The situation, ball at the Oakland 45-yard line. Wilson looking at a 3rd and 6 situation. Almost picked off by Gerald Small. Mark Wilson was going for Arthur Whittington. Gerald Small almost made the play of the game.
He certainly did. Had he been able to bring that one in, he was down the sideline with no one touching him, and that could have been the critical mistake that has killed Oakland the last few weeks, but it didn't hurt him today.
Gerald Small comes up with a big play. Mark Wilson walks to the sidelines with these statistics. 16 for 38, 180 yards. He is hoping he does not have to take the field again today. Guy will punt from his own 30. Vigorito is standing at his 11. Fulton Walker is at his 20. Guy, Vigorito had to make a decision. There's a flag on the play. He fielded the ball at his own 3 and got it out to the 9. And a legal push above the waist call against the Miami Dolphins will send them back even deeper.
Had Vigorito not caught that ball, I believe it would have gone out on the 1 or 2 yard line. So he made a decision at the last minute to catch it. I mean, to pick it up on the bounce, but he almost had to do it. And that's, again, the valuableness of Ray Guy. And I know his wife, Beverly, watching in Oakland, was excited about that.
Number 70, post-possession foul. The penalty will be assessed from the point where the ball
Another final score, the Pittsburgh Steelers stay alive in the AFC Central Division. Final, Steelers 34, Atlanta 20. Steelers now 6-5, but the Bengals with a win over the Los Angeles Rams, they're 8-3. Houston Oilers are losing to the Kansas City Chiefs at the moment. Of course, you know the Cleveland Browns game later this afternoon. Dolphins starting from their own 2. Strock has got a throw.
A penalty in the end zone is an automatic safety. That could prove the end of the Miami Dolphins today.
Johnny Robinson, number 68, the man in Strock's face. Strock grounded the ball intentionally. The referee signaled it, and there's the signal for the safety. So the Raiders just about wrap things up with that critical mistake here.
Strock was trying to do a slip screen here, I believe. He was going to go out to his back right there. You see the motion, see where he's turning back to his left. It wasn't open, and he had no choice. He steps out of the end zone right there, and that would have been the safety also, but it's kind of a lineman's dream to get that safety.
But let's go back to the punt of Ray Guy, 52 yards.
There was a safety on the play. The quarterback ran out over the end zone. There was no infraction on the play. The quarterback ran out for 2 points.
So it was not intentional grounding. However, there was a flag in the play. He did, as you saw in the replay, step beyond the end line.
Yes, he did, but I don't think that was a good play selection because it takes too much time. You've got your defensive lineman really teeing off in that situation. It's one of those plays that looks great if it works, but a lot of times it's not going to work, and I don't agree with that play selection at all.
And there were still 2 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock. So now the Dolphins trail 26-17. They are down by 9. They will need a touchdown and a field goal.
I saw Don Shula last year do an interesting thing in this situation. He had an onside kick from the punt position on a safety. I don't know if he'll try that right now, but it was a heck of a play.
Horace trying an onside punt. Knocks it out of bounds at his 39-yard line.
Well, that's what I was said that he did last year. It's an interesting play, but it didn't fool Oakland. Oakland had lined up in their onside kick defense.
And a 5-yard penalty will be assessed to the Dolphins. It is just like a kickoff. Final here, Philadelphia Eagles 38, Baltimore 13. 10 consecutive losses for the Baltimore Colts. Final, Green Bay wins their 3rd consecutive game, 21-17 over the Chicago Bears. They are the mystery team of the NFL. They can beat the San Diego Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they come up short against teams that their talent is more compatible with.
Let's see if he kicks another onside kick. He does.
Raymond Chester fields the ball at his 30-yard line. And so the prospects of a Miami win do not look very promising.
Very dampened. But that's a sign of a great coach. I saw him win last year with that same exact kick.
NFC Eastern Division contest. Phil Simms has put the New York Giants on top of the Washington Redskins with a 6-yard touchdown pass to Johnny Perkins.
If you were Tom Flores now, what would you do, Mike? Would you go for the touchdown, or would you just play conservatively?
Oh, they're up by 9. I think, if anything, they'll run the ball 3 times and let Chris Barr attempt a field goal. That would put it out of range.
I believe you're exactly right.
Give us to Frank Hawkins, number 27. He probes the middle of the Miami defensive line. The 2-minute warning has been given to both benches, and now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. The coordinating producer of football is Ted Nathanson. Telecast of today's game is being produced by Kenneth Edmondson, directed by Bucky Gunts. Technical director Bill Toby, associate director Bill Goldman. Thank you, gentlemen. Also, thank you to our spotters, Harry Von Suskel and Bo McComas. I have to mention their names because they won't let me go water skiing with them next time I come down to Miami. Raiders, by their own admission, have to face facts and realize they have to win every single game from here on out. They'll finish at 10-6 if they can do that, and then pray for a wild card berth. Hand off to Chester Willis, brought down by Blackwood, Lyle Blackwood, that is, number 42. Meanwhile, the Dolphins watched their record drop to 7-3-1, and now the Jets trail by only a half game. And of course, next week, right here on NBC Sports, a big contest to determine supremacy in the AFC's Eastern Division as the Jets and Dolphins tangle and shade.
Right now, they really become important, but you know, this Oakland Raider team, they still feel they have a chance with a record of 10-6. They feel they have a shot, so they had to win this one. They've done it. They've got 5 more to go, or 4 more to go after this week, and they still feel they have a shot.
They play the Chargers next week in Alameda County Stadium. One of 2 games remaining with San Diego. They also face the Steelers on Monday night, December 7th. They have the Bears at home, but they play Seattle away. Seahawks are dangerous up there, especially for the Raiders, who for some reason over the years have not played well on artificial surfaces. And 53 seconds remaining here in the Orange Bowl. The Raiders enjoy a 9-point lead over the Miami Dolphins, 26-17. 3rd down and 2, ball at the 22. Wilson gives to Frank Hawkins, and Hawkins has a first down as he rumbles down to the 17-yard line. Next Saturday on NBC Sports World, it's the ladies lifting incredible weights in the...
This is usually a time where he and Dave Dalby, of course, would be out of the game, but there and again in the transition period. It's kind of tough for old Uppy.
Give us the Hawkins again. Oakland electing to, in a gentlemanly manner, run out the clock.
There's old Uppy. A long time, a long career. I played against him and I played with him. Very outspoken, but quite a gentleman. There's Dave Dalby, famous number double D there, number 50. Boy, I'll tell you, I played against him, and I thought he was one of the best.
Remember, stay tuned immediately following this. .135 remaining. Timeout gives it to Chester Willis. Willis has the first down and the touchdown. So Chester Willis, another rookie running back out of Auburn, scampers 15 yards around right end for an Oakland score they didn't need. It is now the Raiders 32, the Dolphins 17. I think Ted Hendricks said it best, Dave, when he said, you know, there's no great teams in the NFL, and by no means are we dead this year.
Well, this is what the draft has done over the years. Of course, this was what it was instituted to do. Rather than let all the teams with the money, or so-called money, you know, get all the quality players to watch this kick. But it really has given parity amongst the entire NFL. Any team can beat. There's the old cliche, it's been used 100 times, that on any day one team can beat another one, but it's so true this year. And that's why I say it's been perhaps the most interesting year for me in the last 15 that I've been involved in this game.
Number 38, Chester Willis.
Wasn't Lyle Blackwood, number 42, in a tough position here. He tries to cut it back in, and of course Willis takes it around the end. In that situation there, they were just thinking that Oakland would run up the middle, and he completely surprised them.
Well, the Raiders made a stretch run last year. Jim Plunkett's Cinderella story unveiled itself. Remember, that game will be on a tape delay basis in San Francisco at 11:30 this evening. Eddie Hill fields the ball for the Dolphins, takes it out to his 35-yard line. No timeouts remaining for Miami.
If you think things are hot on the Raiders side, I smell something burning up here in the booth, and it's got me quite concerned.
33 points against the Miami Dolphins is the most that has been scored against a Don Shula team since 1970, which was his very first year here.
Play football.
Strock to Eddie Hill across the 40. Finally down by number 56, Jeff Barnes. They have no timeouts remaining. Willie Jones is offsides for the Raiders. Strock throws it across the middle to Tom Figueredo. Again, the star of the day has been Oakland quarterback Mark Wilson. Prior to today's game, just 3 touchdown passes, but he's thrown 3 today.
Offside, number 90 defense. Penalty declined.
Kansas City on top of the Houston Oilers, 17-10. Kenny Stabler has come back to throw a 50-yard touchdown pass to Ken Burrow, the Snake Man.
I rode his arm for quite a few years, and I know the Oakland fans loved watching the old Alabama Rattler. He was, oh, what a great player and a great person.
Strock almost picked off by Dwayne Osteen.
Was that ever a play? They're calling it that he touched the ball. It bounced off his hands into the hands of another guy and over to the receiver.
Strock out to Figueredo, and Figueredo stops the clock with 24 seconds remaining. So Strock did a fairly masterful job of coming in a relief role of David Woodley. Minnesota final over New Orleans Saints, 20-10. Remember, Brian Gumble will give you all the scores. NFL 81 after the game.
Minnesota can't run the ball, but boy, with Tommy Kramer, can they ever throw it?
Screen pass to Eddie Hill. Otis McKinney there, so is Jeff Barnes. And that should about do it. Strock gets off one more play. Elmer Bailey out of bounds, flag on the play.
This is going to be where a defensive penalty is going to allow the offense to have another play. And I wouldn't doubt that you're going to see a pass to the end zone, knowing my great expertise as I have it.
Defense is offside. The quarter will be extended for 1 play after a 5-yard penalty.
That's like rubbing salt into the wound a little bit.
Watch number 90 come into your picture. He's just trying to jump over top, and he does not get there. That's Willie Jones.
We had mentioned erroneously earlier that the 33 points against the Dolphins was the most scored against them since 1970. They actually had 34 scored against them a year ago.
That Buffalo game, I believe it was.
Actually, they had 36 scored against them no, 34. So that's the final score. The Raiders 33, the Dolphins 17 here in the Orange Bowl. We'll be back with some final comments after these messages.